be the source of.
Yeah.
You should be hopefully able to hear him now.
Hopefully,
So
it's certainly picking up on the.
I'm looking at you, chat.
It's picking up on the mic thing. Apologies.
They hear you. They hear
Awesome.
you. Yes.
So what I'll do is after the thing, I'll go back and I'll cut that little bit out, and we'll start as if we're starting right now. Okay. So 3.
All right. 3, 2,
1. Hello there, everybody, and welcome to Kristi and Kev's Happy Hour, the show that's never half an hour late due to cat-related purposes. Honest, I'm the titular Kev. I'm not the reason that we're late for cat-related purposes. Honest, and joining me, as ever, it's a person who's the proud owner of a P word, by which I mean PhD. It's Dr. Kristi Winters.
Oh, let me laugh like we haven't had to do that twice.
Well, Kristi,
hey,
there's nothing I love talking more, but then coy
about my P word
references to your genitalia. Yeah, that's. I mean, it wasn't creepy when I did it the first time, so it's certainly not the second time.
No, definitely not. So yeah, do you want to tell the whole world about this very extended tale involving you being a good citizen to the felines in your neighborhood?
Well, I mean, I don't really want to, but I'm going to. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not that I don't want to. I'm being silly. Anyway, and to the people who were watching like half an hour of nothing, please seek out help for whatever problem it is you're suffering from, because clearly you're unwell. That's all I'll say. Anyhow, cat-related nonsense. Right. I've mentioned on the show before that I feed various cats from around the estate. I'm like the fucking Pied Piper of knobheads around the estate, okay? They come to me, I feed them bits of chicken. Don't worry, it's not enough that they're like, I'm trying to steal them from their owners. They still have to go back and get food from them, actually feed them. But I give them a little bit of chicken or some of the little cat treats, which are hella expensive, but they do love them. Anyway, so I've got various of these fucking things. And one of them is called Moomoo. I called them that.
Well, it's not called Moomoo. Yes,
yeah, but I mean, cats don't really have names as such, do they? You bring up an interesting philosophical point as to what is the true name of any cat, really.
Does a cat know it's a cat?
Does a cat care? Almost certainly not. Almost certainly not.
Different question.
Anyway.
Different question.
So, there's a black and white cat who I call Moomoo, because black and white like a Frisian cow, which is a typical type of cow here in Western Europe. Anyway. Even though it's mostly black, but there's bits of white on it anyway. So I called it Moomoo, and it's either a stray or a feral, and I'm not entirely sure which. But either way, I thought it was going to be like old Chopsy Cat's, rest his soul, God rest his fluffy little soul, where he'd eventually sort of basically come into the house, because I'd accepted him as basically part of the family, because I was the only fucker feeding him by the looks of things. But he wouldn't come in. So he's an outdoors cat, that's the way he is, fair enough. Anyway, he had an abscess, growth thing on his cheek, and it was green and pussy, and the smell was just atrocious. So anyway, called the vets. The vets couldn't do anything for him because the COVID and stuff, you have to bring them in at a certain time, and I don't know if I can even pick him up at this point anyway. So I rang up the RSPCA, and I thought, well, they deal with like strays and stuff, so they'll at least know what to do if, whatever. And it's not Moomoo as in M-U-M-U, it's M-O-O. M-O-O. Please, Joel.
You have to explain why.
Because it's moo, like the noise of a cow.
Because he's black and white.
Because he's black and white. Did I just explain that, Kristi?
Oh, okay.
Outrageous.
All right.
Anyway, so the RSPCA, which stands for the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, which is a British organisation, deals with all types of animals. They deal with stray cats as well. So an operative from the RSPCA came around with a trap. It's about 6 feet long, 2 feet high, 2 feet wide. And it's pressure loaded, so you put food at one end. When they walk in to get the food, the pressure of the cat weighing down flips the lever and the back end shuts up. So it's then enclosed in the cage. And Moomoo, being an idiot, all cats are, fell for the trap. And so I rang them up and was like, oh, he's in the trap now, can you come and get him? No one could come and get him. So I had to pick up the fucking cat, and he was trying to scratch my fucking face off. He would have eaten me given the chance. He did not like being in the cage. Anyway, So I then had to drive out to the thing, which was quite far away. But I thought I'd be back by 7. But they then wanted to fucking interview me and shit about like the cat, because they have to like was it cruelty or something. And then they were like, "Well, what do we do with it?" And I was like, "Well, can you make it better?" And they were like, "Well, what after that then?" So I've had to promise them, give them my word that I'll still feed the cat. So they're going to give surgery to it and bring it back and release it in the local area. But anyway, so we've sort of got...
Is Moomoo quite skinny, or is Moomoo being fed well by everybody in the neighborhood by the looks of him?
Well, I feed him well enough. I feed him enough for him to be, okay, I think. Anyway, so I thought I'd be back in time, but I didn't take like any device with me at all, so I couldn't like contact either you or anyone else. But I thought I'd be back by like 6, with the show starting at 7. So I thought I'd be back in plenty of time, and I wasn't. So apologies. Cats had to come first, because fuck humans.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Well, I was just, the first thing, as I said in my message, I assumed like something like happened, like you fell asleep, because you're usually quite responsible. I don't think you've ever missed the start of a show ever in years.
No, that's not true.
And then the other thing, of course,
I missed if you remember, when I used to do this show with Cog. What was that show called? The anti-fascist.
Oh, Keck.
Yes.
Keck.
Let them eat Keck.
Let them eat Keck.
And I was like 5 minutes late, and you had to ring me, and I was asleep. So that has happened once in 5 years or whatever.
But that wasn't this show. That was Keck.
Indeed. Yeah.
Anyway, and then of course, I'm just worried that something's happened to you. So as long as you call me back, I'm relieved. That's the most important thing.
Well, I'm not dead yet.
Yes.
I mean, it comes to us all, lest we forget. The Reaper awaits us all. But at the moment, I'm good. Anyway, how are you? Good. Have you had any related instance with local stray animals? Maybe a pet beaver or something? No?
No drama in my life whatsoever. So.
Well, being Germany, have you got like a pet Nazi? I don't know how it works over there. I don't know how it works.
I don't know why you always have to go to the Nazi thing.
Well, because there's loads of them there. I presume they happen naturally, don't they? Don't you have like springs of Nazis and stuff? I don't know.
I have no idea what you're talking about. There's more fascists, I think, in the United States that are actively threatening people than like worrying about the overthrow of the German government. So, yeah. I know you want to position me to be put in a position where I have to like defend Germany, but I always find it like a really weird thing that you make me do.
Note that Kristi has not really denied the existence of German Nazis. I find that very interesting.
No, not denied. But to my knowledge, they don't grow in back gardens or anything. Like.
Well, okay, but they're produced in some sort of factory then. I don't know how it works. I don't know.
Moving on.
Anyway, how have you been in general?
Well, it's just been in the 90s here, so rather warm.
The Berlin Wall's falling again.
Okay, random German history references.
No, I did because you said it's in the 90s. It's a joke about the 1990s. Never mind.
Oh, sorry, I didn't get the reference. I didn't make that connection.
I could have gone with David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
That maybe would have cued me.
Because that was the historic thing about that.
Because he's actually from the.
It wasn't the tearing down of
certainly.
both the physical and metaphorical barrier between East and West and the fall of communism and all the rest of it. It was David Hasselhoff again.
Well, more specifically, the jacket he wore.
That perm cannot be forgotten. We must
How can
never
you not
allow it to
remember
be
the
forgotten.
jacket that? Talk about the jacket that lights up.
I've been looking for freedom.
Freedom.
Was that 89? Apologies. I always because the Soviet Union was early 90s, wasn't it? I don't know. Whatever. It works. Fuck it.
we got the fact checker in the check. So yeah. Very good. I was going to say something, and now I could. Oh yes.
Be distracted by the huff.
Been in a situation. Yes, we had as our limit for the idea that 1st of September, we could maybe go back to the offices for the first time, like basically since March. But because we've gone from like 300 cases a day to somewhere like in the 900 or 1,000, we got extended indefinitely from so the September 1st thing is gone now, and it's just
1,000
cases a day.
Cases of Nazism in one day. See what I did?
I don't know how they track that.
That's a reference back to the silly joke I did a second ago, which is not a tired shit reference at all. Fuck you. Doubts in my mind.
Doubts in your mind? What is that reference? Doubts in your mind.
No, doubts in my mind as in I'm thinking to myself, I know it's a silly joke, but does everyone get that I'm getting that it's a silly joke? So it's self-doubt. I'm literally referencing my own inner demons.
Oh, all right. No, that's why I didn't get it. Okay. It's a little bit hard to keep up with the mind reading across the distance, across the channel.
Well, look, Kristi,
here.
we've been
There's
doing this show long
enough in London.
You know how this works. You need to all times guess what I'm thinking, otherwise this show doesn't work at all.
By the way, we didn't actually say what was going to be on the show or how we were going to run the show or set it up at all. So we're really going to have to do this while we do it live. So yeah, I mean, you had some Tim Pool stuff up. Do you have that ready to go, or did you want to kick it over to me?
I do.
Okay,
I was just going to look at this video because should we actually do show? Shall I get? I'm getting into show now. Now we're going from banter to showtime. So you'll watch Kev get professional.
Oh yeah, big difference. Big difference.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we had 1,100. Yeah, we had 1,100 cases reported yesterday. So
that's a lot of Nazis.
Bit of a spike here.
Anyway,
moving on.
Tim Pool. It's really good that he's made this video because I'm going to call it now. Joe Biden is going to win in November.
Oh, can I see the screen?
If you
helps.
insist. If you insist. Yeah.
Also, I see someone in the chat mention the Ethan Ralph revenge porn. So yeah, I think we need to talk about that at some point as well.
I don't really know a lot about it. I've heard about it.
Yeah, I actually, yeah. I mean, I only know detail. I don't know that much. I tried to look into it, but actually it was very difficult to find information.
If he's doing revenge porn, I mean, he's taking his communist to a new level. Yeah,
he's a piece of shit.
Awful.
So
but
that's kind of the TLDR on that one.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I wouldn't have watched the video anyway because I'll watch a sex tape if it's like out there, but not if it's revenge porn because that's just encouraging revenge porn. Like, I'll watch the Kim Kardashian sex tape because she obviously wanted that shit out there. So I was like, yeah, I'll watch that. Fair enough. Because that's just porn at that stage, you know. Anyway, so I haven't seen it. I don't know a lot about it. The guy is filth, who's very dangerous and deserves to go to prison. Never mind.
He has been there already.
He has, albeit for the stupidest thing of trying to punch a cop and failing. He went to prison for failing to punch a police officer. He was drunk, fell asleep on a public bench because that's the kind of classy guy we're dealing with here. And when a police officer woke him up, he took a swing for him, missed, and got done for attempted assault. And was it 3 months in prison? Well done.
Something like that, yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. So, yes, I'm calling it now. Joe Biden wins in November. So, let's take a victory lap, people. Because as Tim says here, the left is eating itself over Kamala Harris VP pick. And now Trump will landslide. Which absolutely guarantees a Biden victory. Because
Tim Pool, he
does this every time.
Trump.
Every single time. Yeah. He predicted that Ilhan Omar would lose. He predicted that AOC would lose. He predicted that Ayanna Pressley would lose. He predicted several people would all lose, made loads and loads of videos about how they were definitely all going to lose, and then when they won, he was like, see? What? You said they were going to lose, Tim. You gave money to AOC. He literally gave money to AOC's rival in the primary. And then when she pissed it because, you know, she's one of the most well-known and popular Congress people in the fucking country. She's also one of the most hated, fair, but she's very liked in New York, which is all that counts because that's where she represents. Anyway,
it only matters that people like you where they vote for you. That's literally the only thing that counts.
If fucking
you just have to represent your constituents.
If Hicksville, Alabama don't like her, it doesn't really affect her. It's not not an issue for her. Anyway, so he's predicted all this, and now he's predicting not only that Trump will win, but Trump will win by a landslide. So that guarantees. But they might as well just crown Biden as the king of America forever, frankly. That's how confident.
Mr. Voidful asks, is Tim Pool the reverse Paul the octopus?
He is, and good reference. That's a solid reference. Do you? Well, I was about to say, Kristi, do you get that reference?
Yeah, it's a solid World Cup.
Yeah, there was an
it's
octopus.
A World Cup reference.
There was basically it was a publicity stunt by a zoo. But Paul the octopus would pick who was going to win games, and he picked some in a row, and then picked loads of fucks. But because he got some in a row, it became internationally famous. Paul the octopus can predict stuff, which isn't true. He was just
it's just.
They'd like tuna in 2 jars or something, and he'd pick one of the jars, and they were labelled like Germany versus France or whatever. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, he basically he is. Only Paul the octopus had some semblance of thinking behind his analysis of the 2 jars of fish, whereas Tim's just like, how can I best suck Trump's balls today? Is his entire shtick.
Can I just show how and illustrate this? I listened to a talk by a guy named Hans. I can't remember what his name is, but he's talking about data, and he said at the start of his international relations course, he would give his students a pop quiz, and they thought it was very unfair because they hadn't taken the course yet. But he wanted to know what they knew, and so he would ask them 5 questions, and it was things like. Are big families, quite typical in poorer countries, and a lot of sort of stereotypical views of the developed versus developing world from the 1960s. And a lot of perception is actually no longer empirically accurate, but it's still kind of in the milieu of the West. And so he found that after his students did not do well, like they would get 2 out of every 5 questions right, he decided to do his faculty members, and they did a little bit better. They got like 2.3 of all the questions right. He said, this is why our thinking can actually lead us to make even worse decisions than chance. Because I said, if I have a banana with one answer and the other answer, and I give it to a monkey, they have a 50% chance of getting it right. Like a monkey will on average get 2.5 questions right. And because we reason ourselves with these biases, we actually do worse than monkeys do by chance on average. Yeah. So just like Tim Pool is actually, he can keep guessing, but if his reasoning is wrong, he's actually going to have a worse record than just Paul the octopus, who's doing it randomly.
Indeed.
Okay,
yes.
That was it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's that's basically true. But his is even worse because his is literally Trump is going to win and is awesome. So, on all the occasions, which are almost all the occasions where Trump isn't awesome and doesn't win, Tim looks like a twat. But he still, to be fair, he still rakes in the views with idiots. It's really, really silly.
This is it. Like, if you go to any reputable media outlet, they are telling Trump people he's behind.
Yeah.
And he's not even advertising in Michigan anymore. And he has to compete in Florida and Texas. And that's very depressing for them. They don't want to hear that Trump is, if the election were fair, would definitely lose. So Tim is just putting out content to lie to them in order to exploit their ignorance and their desire for an echo chamber.
Indeed so. Indeed so. Should we take a look?
Oh, please.
This should be hilarious.
News outlets will tell you that everybody is rallying around Kamala Harris. She is going to utterly destroy Mike Pence in the VP debates. But then you go take a look at the politicos on social media, and they're saying something very, very different. Now, I think.
No, firstly, that's interesting. Firstly, that's really interesting because his constant attacks are the left panders to these social media blue tick people. And now it's like, well, actually, the social media tick people believe the thing I'm trying to spin, the narrative I'm spinning now, so I'm going to agree with them now for some reason.
I'm gonna go out there and cherry pick things that I think help my argument and ignore all the other evidence out there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fun. Anyway, let's continue. I've got a little rant for the burn your bust people in a bit as well, which I need to do. I need to get that shit off my chest. But anyway,
I think it's fair to point out.
Okay.
Social media is not necessarily real life. This may be these stories we're seeing popping up. We got this one from the Hill. Centrists, progressives rally around Harris pick for VP. That's technically true, but it creates an impression, in my opinion, that they're all doing it like it's
It's technically true that people are happy, but it creates that technical true impression creates an impression.
Exactly, yeah. It might be technically true, but allow me to say the complete opposite of that with no reason to do so at all. Like, he can still say he thinks Trump's going to win, which would be silly, but this doesn't improve
you can
that
say it,
chance.
but he'd be wrong.
That doesn't, and he hasn't, and not that, but you can't say that progressive centrists aren't rallying around that, because, as I'll get onto later, I'm no fan of Kamala Harris, but there are bigger issues at play here, so that's what rallying around means. It doesn't mean they all think Kamala Harris is the best thing ever, or that Joe Biden is. It's, they'd like to win rather than not win this time, for a lot of reasons. Well, one main reason.
I actually have some things to show you on my bookmarks about the impact that she's had since the announcement, but we'll wait till then just to reference those. They're all technically true and true, by the way, because they're facts.
Well, yeah, they're technically true, but allow me to spin the complete opposite narrative with no evidence. So, checkmate, people that believe in facts and stuff. Anyway. Tim, he's an idiot. Let's hear how Trump's definitely going to win in a landslide.
It's a widespread thing, when in actuality it's probably like a small handful of establishment, individuals, establishment progressives and corporate Dems. I think the reality is the people in the Beltway, these reporters, are in a tight bubble and they have no idea what's really going on, because lo and behold, the left is tearing Kamala Harris to shreds. To shreds, I say. And so are conservatives, and they're using, dare I say it, the same memes.
Now, here is the point where I have to step in and be a little bit serious and a little bit angry. Because, Tim, you forced me to agree with some analysis from Tim Pool. He's correct there.
Okay.
The left and the right have been using many of the same memes. If you went on to Bernie or Bust Twitter accounts, they looked very similar to Tim Pool's account, or Charlie Kirk's account, or any number of these arseholes, Paul Joseph Watson, all of them, all spreading the same fucking memes. Now, I put it to you, dear viewer, that if you are spreading the exact same memes about the exact same person, I don't give a fuck if you're doing it for different reasons. If you're doing that same thing, you're having the same fucking impact, in essence. Now, to the Bernie or Bust people, please stop being fucking stupid. I don't like Joe Biden. I don't like Kamala Harris particularly. Not because she's black or a woman, just because previous politics. We'll get into it after November. The point is, after November. Okay? If you think you have a better chance of getting any kind of progressive action through under Donald Trump than you do under Biden and Harris, you are throwing dirt in the face of Bernie Sanders and all he's worked for the last 30 fucking years. He has been one of the best progressive voices in terms of dragging people towards a more left-wing space. He's amazing amounts of fundraising for what was the most socialist program that anyone's ever run for president on, frankly, and been enormously successful because, and this is the thing that really annoys me, right? The analysis of people like Bernie or Bust folk is so fucking dumb at times, because of course he came out and said, I think it's wonderful that he's picked Kamala Harris. That's how you get shit done, okay? He knows that. He knows you have to work inside the system at some point if you do electoralism. That's how it fucking works. You need the operation of that massive party across the country to do anything. Sorry, go on.
Can I also just point out, there is a piece of legislation in the Senate right now that aims to give all American families an extra $2,000 per month I think until December or March of next year. And there's like one person on it, I can't remember. The other person on it is Bernie Sanders, and the other person on it is Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
So Bernie is working with her to get people the money they need to live.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's not just rhetoric. He's actually working with her in the Senate. And she is listed as actually more to the left than he is, because she's been better on like gun control voting and other issues. So just to put out there, Bernie is working with Kamala Harris on progressive, working class family solutions right now today in the Senate.
Exactly, yeah. And Bernie Sanders has built a grassroots movement that the left needs to be able to take advantage of. And part of that is so that you can stop fascism, first and foremost, because that's literally, from a leftist point of view, that's all this election needs to be about. I don't even really give two fucks what their policies are for now. When they get in power, we'll see what happens. But for now, stopping fascism has to be our number one fucking goal. Because in order to get to anything like a really progressive American government, you need to have not the complete destruction that fascism will bring. So that's what it has to be about. And you like I say, you throw dirt in the face of Bernie Sanders and all he's worked for by saying, oh, well, there's no difference between them, or some of them that are planning to vote for Trump over this ticket. You think, I'm sorry, if you can't tell the difference between imperfect candidates and literal fucking fascism, you're not a leftist, you're just a prick. It's very simple to me. Anyway, sorry, I need to get that.
Can I also just on a slightly different note? Yeah, so from someone who is actually like a long-term member of the Democratic Party and roots for Dems, like, if someone comes at AOC from outside the Democratic Party, I will stand for her, even though I disagree with her on a lot of stuff, because, hey, you don't fuck with my people, right? So I can have complaints about her, but that's an internal party thing. If other people coming at her from outside, I will stand up and defend her. And so when I look at this ticket, and I know what you're saying about the issues of fascism, I'm also looking at how Black women and women of color are reacting to this pick. When the hard left or the far left comes in, and then I look over at the Lincoln Project, and the Lincoln Project is doing an ad praising the Biden-Harris ticket and going after Trump. Who am I actually feeling a little more like is on my side and is my ally? If you have people who aren't as left as you, and you have centrists who aren't attacking your candidates, and you have leftists who are, it's not that I'm moving farther to the right. It's just that I'm refusing to work with people on the far left because they've sort of taken themselves out of the game by making them self-offensive. Yeah. So you're shooting yourself in the foot if the idea is you want to actually get progressive ideas across. You don't do that by attacking the candidate that a lot of people and a lot of women of color are really excited about. You need to kind of be a little intersectionality and put it in your allyship.
Yeah. Absolutely, I think that's a very, very worthwhile point. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of privilege involved because ultimately the white Bernie or bust folk on Twitter aren't the ones whose families are being put in cages. They aren't the people who are being systematically attacked by the Trump regime. By and large, he's fucking everyone over to some extent, other than the rich. But they don't feel it necessarily in that forceful way.
Yeah, and also she came out on a version of M for A, but it's not Bernie's M for A, so it doesn't count. I mean, fucking really?
Yeah, well, exactly. Really? Like, it's like if you can't tell the difference between candidates you don't necessarily like, but have some policies that you do, and fascist criminal rapist, that's an issue for me. And this is the thing.
I had a rose.
Sorry, just before we move on. Those to those who are like, well. If you just say you're going to vote for him anyway, why would they capitulate? It's not about capitulation, right? It's about trying to work the electoral system. If the left doesn't go and vote for this ticket and Trump wins again, what the Democrats will naturally say is the votes aren't there on the left. So they will move toward the centre because that's where the votes are. Those people do go out and vote, and they voted for Trump. So the left has to prove itself a viable electoral force to drag that party a little bit further to the left at the very least, and hopefully in a more progressive direction, and try and force the Republicans to move toward the centre. That's what you have to do.
Yeah,
if the votes aren't there, there's no point in them going there. The whole argument will be they voted for Trump twice. We appealed to some extent to the left, and they weren't fucking there. They're not prepared to vote. So you ruin any chance of you actually being able to do anything in that respect. You make yourselves politically irrelevant.
Yeah, if you want to look at a demographic that isn't large numerically, right, you can look at Black women. Black women turn out, 9 out of 10 Black women vote for the Democratic Party. Do you want to know why they are a powerhouse in the Democratic Party? It's because 9 out of 10 Black women, they can count on their votes consistently. And they are also the women who are coming up and making impression, making progress, taking leadership. They are working their way up through the seniority system. And so, yeah, if you're going to be like, hey, if I don't get exactly what I want, I'm voting green, you know, and you can't play where you don't have a stake.
Well, exactly, yeah. And we've seen more progressive candidates being elected into Congress, doing well in Senate races and governor races and stuff like that.
Yeah, women of color.
Yeah.
And if you don't, of color.
Yeah, and if you don't vote for them, all that tells the Democrats is, no, we need to go with more centrist / right-leaning people, because the left won't vote for us. So, again, if you want the Democratic Party to listen to what you have to say, you have to actually vote. Because if you don't vote, they have no... I mean, it shouldn't matter. I know in theory you should take into account everyone's opinion because it's a democracy. But we know what the vote machine is, okay? There's no electoral pressure on them to listen to people who don't vote.
Yeah, and the thing is, with women of color and Black women in particular, you know, I see someone like, oh, Dems take the left for granted and we don't get much from them. Well, there were all decades where white Dem guys would show up to a Black church whenever they needed the vote, but Black women still made the decision tactically that they were in a better position with Dems in charge. And then they started like working and demanding like, hey, you know what? We're doing the work. We deserve more power. We deserve a seat at the table. And so, yeah, you're not going to just be catered to because you're a demographic, because all the demographics, you're competing with them all. There are the people who are really pro-choice. There are the people who have different agendas. And the far left is just one more group that's trying to get attention from Democratic politicians. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you have to do that part of it. And then also, can I just complain about white leftists? Because I couldn't believe this interaction I had.
Well, that's fair considering that we're dealing with Tim Pool. And Tim Pool says he's on the left. So we're complaining about a white leftist, you know?
Well, this was a case where someone was going after Joe Biden, say, and I was like, you know, Joe Biden is on the issues the most progressive Democratic candidate that's ever stood. And the reply I got is, are you forgetting about FDR?
Okay.
I was like, you mean the person who put Japanese American citizens in internment camps? Is that the guy that you're citing as being more progressive? Yeah, seriously? How deep is your white progressivism that you only care about the white working class issues to the point where they could cage American citizens and that is still doesn't count enough? He's still more progressive than Biden. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, and opposed the desegregation of the US military and opposed repealing Jim Crow laws. Mm-hmm. Like, the man was very racist. And that, to be fair, you kind of had to be American president at that time. Just a fact. Yeah, I'm not excusing it. It's just a thing. But don't pretend that this is somehow the most progressive thing in the world just because he did. I mean, he did some good social democratic things, but that's it. That
really benefited his white voters. Yeah. Right? That's who it was directed at. Mm. So... all right, I think we both needed to get something off our chest.
Indeed, yes, yes. So, Bernie supporters, for the love of God, realise he's now politically dead, okay? He's not going to be president of the United States. So, you have to move beyond Bernie Sanders to something new. You just do. I supported Bernie Sanders. I'd have loved him to become president. He isn't going to, so where do we move to from here? And I don't think voting for Donald Trump is necessarily a great option, considering he's literally a fascist. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh. Right. So with that slide, small detour
conservatives.
Aside.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Please don't try and talk over the white man, Kristi. Please.
And leftists alike are sharing the cop and feel memes among many other memes. The funny thing is, I didn't think conservatives would be the ones that would actually use the anti-cop meme or accusing Kamala of being a cop. But I think the point is people like cops, conservatives like cops, right? Actually, it's fair to say most people do. Most people want police reform. And that means to me, while people are like, yeah, I understand why we need police, most...
Do they? Because, I mean, last time I checked, the Republicans were like, nah, the police are awesome, let's give them more money.
Well, I know what happened to Blue Lives Matter, the Blue Lives Matter rallies, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. You've seen this before, so I don't know where he's going. But the thing is, Tim
Tim doesn't know where he's going either. He just rambles.
Fair enough. There is massive popular support for the reform of the police. If you poll on it, people do want reform. Yeah. That is where people are.
Absolutely.
So.
Most people don't like abuse of power from the state. And Kamala Harris represents...
Again, you're not a great example of that because you were literally laughing about and celebrating the black bagging of peaceful protesters, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
You are literally in support of fascism. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I suppose technically he's correct. Most people are against the abuse of the state, just not Tim.
Well, also they want to see it applied equally, whereas Tim only wants it applied to his side, but he wants other people's rights violated if they have a political opinion he doesn't like.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine if the guns rights people, the anti-mask rallies were treated in that way. Tim would have lost his shit.
Yeah, if Bill Barr had gone in with federal troops and had a shootout in the Michigan State House because they occupied it with weapons, how would he feel about that?
Yeah, if they'd gone full Waco on fucking Eamon Bundy, I dare say Tim would have a different opinion of things. Anyway.
Represents that perfectly. The big question on everyone's mind is, did this just end Biden's campaign? And I would actually argue... Yeah.
Anyone surprised by that reaction? Anyone surprised at all that he said yes to his own question there? Did it end his campaign? It's largely irrelevant politically in the sense that it's a vice president pick. Like, unless you literally pick the devil, people will forget in a week because it's just a vice presidential pick. Now, this one's probably slightly more important going forward because we know Biden is old and not particularly well liked. So the chances are Harris will run for president in 2024 and Biden probably won't. So it's slightly more important this time, but it's the vice president. Who gives a fuck?
Yes.
Anyway.
Would. Now, of course, we're seeing the phony establishment progressive type saying, oh, I'm getting on board. Sean King is trending right now because he's like, Kamala Harris has evolved on these issues, so now she deserves my support. What are you talking about? She was her office was keeping people locked up for cheap labor so they go fight wildfires in California. Like, that's insane. That's literal. I'm going to say it. I mean, that's slavery. That's in the 13th Amendment. It says we're allowed to force people into labor by keeping if they're convicted of a crime.
I'm just wondering if prison labor issues are something that Tim is active on and is talking about the privatization of the prison system.
Never mentioned
it. Or is he only talking about? I didn't think so.
Never mentioned it. I've watched a lot of this twat stuff. I've never once heard him refer to it ever. I think he might be full of shit and he's just throwing as much crap at the wall, see what sticks, And not just that, but Tim, if you think that's so disgusting. Donald Trump hasn't tried to repeal the 13th Amendment, or that part of the 13th Amendment, because really you don't want to get rid of the whole 13th Amendment, because slavery is not cool. But there's no amendment to the amendment planned. Donald Trump's has now been running an increased number of privatizing an increasing number of prisons which use slave labor.
Yeah.
But you're going to vote for it.
Yes. Selective outrage again.
Yeah. I think he might just be a hack. What do you reckon?
Maybe.
Maybe. Journalism. Look, I love this.
Oh, by the way, sorry. Orion in the chat says, this is false. Kamala Harris spoke out against the forced prison labor and tried to stop it, but it had to be done through the legislature. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, because it would seem to be something that would be based in law, not necessarily something that she could just unilaterally unilaterally do as AG because she follows the law. So
yeah, exactly.
But just a little asterisk there.
Yeah, you're
Orion
as AG, you're a law enforcement official, not a law creator.
No, you're not an executive either.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
so
you have decisions over the cases.
Yeah, exactly. But you can't just make a new law or change a law.
No.
You apply the law. You don't create it. Whereas now, obviously, being a senator, she does. But that's a different matter entirely.
Yeah. I think I saw, like, there's also things on, like, sentencing and other areas where she had some discretion. So, like, the average of marijuana incarcerations went from, like, over 800 per year down to around 100 and change while she was there because of how she chose. But that was a matter of prosecutorial discretion.
Yeah.
And putting your, kind of
well, look,
so.
I have my very significant issues with Kamala Harris and with Joe Biden. And I dare say post-November, and especially getting into January when they start implementing policies, hopefully, our friendship may be tested a little. Because I dare say you're going to be slightly more supportive of them than I am. But definitely until November, because, like I say, the only goal is stop fascism, as far as I'm concerned in this election. Yeah, I'm going to keep my powder dry. I'm going to bite my lip on that one, because
I would imagine most of the first year is going to be undoing what Donald Trump did.
Almost certainly, yeah. But I mean, I don't politically align with either of them in some respects, so I dare say I'll have criticisms that you won't like, and I dare say you'll have you'll have things that I won't like or whatever. But until November, I'm not saying shit.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's Americans who vote for them. So your opinion, you're entitled to it, but it's not gonna. They're not there to represent. They're not representing you. So, yeah.
Not true. California is a state of the world, Kristi. And Delaware, the great state of Delaware. So it's well-known international location, jet-setting location, Delaware.
2 minutes in. 2.5, not even.
Yeah.
That's what our office did.
Yeah, right-wingers become hardcore SJWs, but only to criticize left-wingers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, thank you, Chuco Cabra.
Yeah.
I had no idea these people. Oh no. We know exactly what's going to happen with her on the ticket. Because let's be real. Kamala Harris is the real presidential candidate. You see what they did here? Joe Biden, they push up Biden in the primaries. He didn't even do that well initially. He started doing better, and then everyone endorsed him, and then he finally won.
Tim understands the things, Krista.
It was all a big plot to get a black woman in the White House.
It was. Yeah.
And that was because it was like nostalgia vote, I guess. Call it whatever you want. Or it was like people thought it was the best shot they had. Then they slap on.
Yeah, Tim. Yes, it was literally people voted for him because they thought he had the best chance of winning. Well done.
Yeah,
what groundbreaking political analysis you're bringing to the table here, Timothy. Jesus.
Yeah, I guess that political analysis was, so off that Biden is so far ahead in the state of Michigan. Trump isn't even advertising in that state. He's not even trying to get Michigan again.
You don't need to win Michigan. It's not got people. It's fine. There's no reason to win Michigan because, I mean, what have they got? Like electoral college votes that are necessary for you to win an election or something?
Yeah, you'd think. Ugh.
Who needs electoral college votes when you've got electoral college votes of the mind?
Yes, all that tactical voting that the people who said, hey, we think Biden is the best shot. We might not like him, but we want to win and then govern. But what do they know? Voters, especially the black voters came out supporting Biden, and now he's beating Trump in all the polls. Okay.
Anyway, so that's groundbreaking political analysis from Timothy Paul. Of people voted for him because they thought he was their best shot. Well done.
I am not throwing away my shot.
Kamala Harris, who is failing in the polls, and everyone knows Joe Biden is a transition candidate, and the VP will be the most powerful.
Hang on. Joe Biden's trans.
I don't think that's what he meant.
I mean, look, fair play.
Yeah, it's fine.
If she has, and I presume that's going to be the new pronoun for Josephina. If she's transitioning at this late stage in life, I support her decision.
Yeah. I have some recent polling on how the public is reacting to Harris. So we can have a look at that, because it was only announced on Wednesday. So today was the first day.
But no, you don't need to look at that. Tim said she's failing in the polls. Why would you need to actually look at polls?
What day was this? What was this? This was yesterday.
Yeah.
Before any polls came out.
Yeah.
But she's failing.
She's failing in the polls. But the only poll that would be available would be her Senate seat in California, which obviously she's pissing like ridiculously easily. So Tim's just, I mean, I haven't even looked at the polls, and I know he's lying. I'm not,
Actually,
not
I don't
even
think
surmising
she's up
it
this time.
No, but I'm saying in general, she has enormous like popular support. It's California,
yes.
like it's When was the last time it sent a non-vaguely liberal senator to Washington?
God, in the 90s. I mean, there were 2 women elected for the first time to represent a single state, and has been, I think, represented by women ever since.
California, yeah.
So, yes. What with all that representation?
Indeed.
History, and many people actually expect Joe Biden may at some point just retire. He's old and he can't talk straight, let alone function at all. Okay.
Is he talking about Donald Trump there? I do wonder.
Because just yesterday Trump was talking about fertilities, the fertility rate. He said fertility twice.
No, well, yeah,
not
but
fatalities.
Fertility. Yeah. Fucking hell. But to be fair, he had just returned from the Yosemite National Park, so there's something in the water there, I think. Yeah. Anyway,
take a look at what's going on. I want to show you what they're saying here, but I got a bunch of tweets for you that will give you a good laugh. We're gonna talk. I want to show you progressives, and so there's a tweet, man, from like this liberal dude who's freaking out. He's like, "No, how could they do this? How could they? Could
you smile any harder, Tim?
And now you've got these liberals. I'm telling you, man. They're saying they're going to vote for the crook, the criminal, and the religious guy, because they have no choice at this point. The Democrats, they really...
Who is saying this?
Some randos on Twitter. Like 3 randos on Twitter.
I've seen like crazy motherfuckers who are like, tear the system down. Those kind of people, like hardcore tankies or whatever. But like, if he's going about this liberal progressive, I don't think anyone's going, you know what, Donald Trump sounds good to me. Like, there might be some who won't vote for Biden and Harris because they're not left enough. And that's, I mean, it's up to you, I suppose. I think it's a really dumb, short-sighted thing to do. But I get the reasoning there. But to then go, I tell you who is left enough for me? Mr. Far Right over there.
Donald
what?
Trump.
What the fuck are you talking about? He's referring to nobody, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I did see like one account, but I have to wonder if it was a Poe. Yeah. And here's the other thing too, and I'm guilty of doing this myself because I'm human, but when something happens, people have an emotional reaction. And if they are not happy about it, they lash out. So people who are really disappointed about Bernie, excuse me, not getting enough votes to be the nominee, initially, like for the first 2 weeks, they're going to be really angry and they're going to say things, I'm not going to vote, blah, 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 blah. And then they calm down. And then they think about it, and then they change their minds. So going off of what people say in the first 48 hours, generally not a great idea.
Yeah, exactly, because they'll see, like, Trump will come out and have to push, because the only constituency he has left now is the very, very far right. So he'll come out and have to be like, oh yeah, we need to put more kids in camps, or whatever. And eventually people will be like, yeah, okay. I will hold my nose and vote for these fucking people, instead of that guy, you know.
Yep. Yeah. So, instant reaction Twitter does not allow you to predict with accuracy how somebody will cast their ballot in 2 months' time.
Well, again, is there any point in us holding an election when Tim has already called it? You don't need to count the Trump votes, you just need to weigh them. You know?
I guess we have to go through. I mean, the Constitution does require us, but we all know how it's going to end. But he's done a spoiler,
really?
Right?
Does it really? Do we need to listen to all of the Constitution? There is quite a lot of it at this point. I say there's some bits we could drop, like that whole slavery bit. Let's bring back slavery. Yeah, let's do that.
I'm sure Tim would be all in favor of that.
And what's wrong with weird and unusual punishments anyway? Really?
Cruel and unusual.
Cruel and unusual, yeah.
Very close.
Yeah.
Very close.
Well, I'm not a lawyer. Again, the Constitution, you don't need all of the words. It's fine. Anyway, enough of my nonsense.
Like, really did choose like the
like you don't
worst...
need all of the. Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
I was just going to do a callback to that Manitowoc Minute I showed you where the guy forgot the anthem at the Packers game. You don't need all the words to the anthem.
Yeah, yeah, but he didn't have any of them. All he had was Rocket's Red Glare. That's it. I was like, what the fuck? Why would you put yourself forward to sing in front of that many people if you don't know the words or aren't confident in the words? Jesus.
All right, sorry, that's a little inside reference from us last week.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Anyway, let's listen to Timothy's amazing analysis.
They really did choose like the worst possible candidates. Maybe that was all they had. I tell you what, man. If they had if Biden had chosen somebody who was kind of like a no-name or didn't have the public profile that Kamala Harris did, it would have been a lot harder for people to drum up this level of hate and anger.
It would be a lot harder for you, Tim, to do that. Yes, that is true, because that is literally what you're trying to do here. You give the game away with your own stupidity.
Yeah, can I just I'm going to do an impression here of Joe Biden thinking about whether or not he should take into consideration what far-right people think about his VP pick.
Yeah.
Sorry, VP pick. You ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
Should I care about what people like Tim Pool think about my VP pick? No. Fuck no.
No.
That was it.
No, that is malarkey. Absolutely.
Come on, man. Well, if you're going to do a Bidenism, I'm going to do a Bidenism.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, unironically think malarkey is a great word.
Oh, okay. That's probably what you like most about Joe.
Almost certainly.
Malarkey. Nobody says malarkey anymore.
Exactly. It's like
that.
that should be coming at me from a black and white film. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I think malarkey was the first spoken word on film, wasn't it? After the talkies were released.
And shock. Everybody knows about Kamala. She got nuked by Tulsi Gabbard on TV in the debate. Everybody watched, and
No, she got attacked. All of them did. It no matter who you pick any of the motherfuckers that were on the stage. You can pick another candidate saying, "Here's a thing from your past that people should know." Blah de blah de blah. She didn't get nuked at all. I mean, look at how they did, Tim.
I saw a clip that someone circulated and like, oh, remember that time Kamala dragged Tulsi on the stage? And basically it's a clip of her saying, there's only one person on the stage who has spent the last several years going and speaking to Fox News. There's only one person on the stage who, after Trump was elected, made an appointment with him. And there's only one person on the stage who continually attacks every other Democrat. I was like, damn, drag her. Snatch that wig off.
Was Tulsi present for that? Well, as to her dying day, I will never let people forget that piece of cowardly bullshit. Fuck you, Tulsi Gabbard, you piece of trash. Anyway, she's not the story. She's not the story here.
It's a historical moment.
Okay,
so take a look at this. The Hill says that centrists and progressives rally around Harris' pick for VP. Here's the point I want to make. This is true.
Let's just skip the entire article.
But there are other people not. I don't think it's fair to frame the article as in this way.
The first 7 or 8 paragraphs there, just ignore all of that.
Yeah.
Let's get to the tweets. Yep. Why not just go to Twitter, you daft bastard? The fuck?
Yep. Go on.
I think if they put some are rallying, others aren't, it would have been probably more apt. So they show Rashida Tlaib, who said...
Yeah, but, Tim, it's a headline. You don't put the fucking full story in the head. Some are rallying around, some aren't. Some are indecisive. Some haven't decided at all yet. Some people disagree. Some people agree. What do you think? And then the story.
But just go ahead and read out what the tweet says. Before is this a criticism?
I fought alongside Senator Kamala Harris for direct cash payments during the pandemic and for clean water as a human right. Now let's defeat Trump and make those policies a reality. P.S. I do have to say that U.S. Senator B. Lee for Congress does sound good too. Who's B. Lee? Do we know B. Lee?
No idea, but maybe if her seat is open, that's someone that would stand.
Yeah, isn't it? It's in the hands of the governor of the state, isn't it? To appoint.
Yes, the governors usually pick.
Yeah. And I remember that from here's a blast from the past, Rod Blagojevich, if you remember.
I was gonna say I'm gonna bring out the Blavoiga blah. Yeah. Blavy or whatever, I don't know. But
the man with the most suspicious fucking hairline in the history of the world. What was he hiding on that forehead? Anyway, yeah, it was done for trying to sell Barack Obama's senatorial seat when he was elected president. Anyway, so that's how I know that that's what happens in that situation. Anyway, so basically he's showing on screen just Rashida Tlaib, one of the squad, saying, this is cool. Okay, I mean, Tim, that's not really telling us what you seem to imply, which is that progressives aren't doing that. Okay. Although it's a slightly moot point here, because The Hill have quoted the tweet and then shown the tweet directly underneath. Yeah. Like, that's a bit unnecessary, isn't it? I guess,
yeah.
And again, the same thing with Linda Sarsour as well. There, look. The entire tweet and then the tweet. Okay.
Yep.
Whatever.
Oh, by the way, what do people on the right think of Linda Sarsour?
I don't think they're massive fans.
Freaking hate her.
Yeah.
No, they are constantly pointing to her as an example of evil on the left. Yeah. So I hope he doesn't quote her.
Well, it depends, Kristi, doesn't it? It depends whether it's a narrative that he can spin. Because I will get onto it, but did you know Kamala Harris is a Marxist? We'll get onto it. It was a searing political dialogue on Twitter. Anyway.
I fought alongside Senator Kamala Harris for direct cash payments during the pandemic and for clean water as a human right. Now let's defeat Trump and make those policies a reality. P.S. I do have to say the U.S. Senator B. Lee for Congress does sound good, too. Let me tell you. You would be bringing the establishment back into the White House and the administration. So these people, I do not believe they're
progressive. Because Trump's not the establishment. The billionaire who's, had every political leader at his weddings over the years. That guy's not the establishment, though. He's not.
No.
He's an outsider. Fuck's sake.
Yes. Did he just cite someone supporting the ticket as evidence that people are upset about the ticket?
Yeah. Yeah, not just that. He supported one of the four horsewomen of the progressive apocalypse or whatever. The most well known group of progressives in the world, I suppose. And one of their representatives as literally saying, "Yeah, this is awesome," as a sign that progressives aren't supporting them, which is fucking ridiculous. It's literally the opposite of the thing you just said, Tim.
Did he read the article before?
I don't know that he can actually read. I'm not convinced.
Oh, okay.
It would make a lot of sense if he were actually illiterate, to be honest. Like, it would be forgivable that he obviously doesn't read anything. Yeah. Anyway.
Progressives. They're progressive Trojan horses. Because you look at actual...
actual progressives. Dude, you've spent nothing but shit-talking progressives saying they're piles of shit. So wouldn't being a fake progressive be good? Because you're not actually the piece of shit that you say progressives are.
Yes, and as someone points out now, the squad is the establishment, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And the establishment are black church ladies.
That's true.
From Edith Spencer in the chat.
Progressives right now, the actual progressive pundits, and they're saying, no way. I mean... I got some tweets from Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks. And while he doesn't absolutely come out and say Kamala Harris is the worst possible thing ever, he does drag her and he says...
Well, if Cenk Uygur says it, it must be true.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he doesn't have any problems in the left community with his prior behavior. No, he's an upstanding member with a spotless record.
All I'll say is, clearly, therefore, the Armenian genocide didn't happen. Is all I'll say.
Yeah.
By the way, that's a joke. Obviously, it did happen, but Cenk at one point claimed it didn't. I don't know if that's still his position. I don't really care. But either way, He's not like the best pundit in the world. He's fine, don't get me wrong. Look, most of the things he says are like...
He's a pundit.
Agree with. Exactly, yeah. But, I mean, in terms of electoral politics, who are you going to trust? Rashida Tlaib, the elected politician and well-known progressive political figure, or YouTubey McYouTube man?
Yes. I mean, he's literally on YouTube. Like, that's it. He's not like in a major newspaper outlet writing editorials, appearing on Sunday talk shows.
No.
He's a guy with a YouTube channel.
Yeah. And he's...
with fewer YouTube people that, you know, like, he's not as popular as PewDiePie or, you know, anyone else. So, yeah. Talking about
not just that, but even
audience,
PewDiePie is big on YouTube, but most people in the world won't know who he is.
Yes.
If you go to Hicksville, fucking Tennessee, they don't know who PewDiePie is. So even if PewDiePie came out and said Kamala Harris is a piece of shit, wouldn't really make that much difference. Nope. Especially because he's a Nazi, so obviously he thinks the black woman is not nice. So who cares?
Correct.
They're going to keep playing their games and won't give us real progressive candidates. Yes, criticizing Kamala Harris. The actual progressive, like the actual high-profile progressives in this country, the thought leaders of the progressive side, they do not like this woman.
Tim, you've shown us no evidence of that.
No.
You've shown us, the only tweets you have shown us are from Rashida Tlaib and Linda Sarsour, both saying, yeah, okay, cool. You claim there are tweets from Cenk Uygur, which means something apparently, and you haven't even shown us. So what you've actually shown us is the literal opposite of the thing you are claiming is true.
Yeah. Also, could we just point out that, let's see, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris take criticism, and then they just get on with their day. What does Trump do when he's criticized? What would Trump do if people in his party criticized him? He spends
20 hours saying they're losers. Fuck you, you piece of shit. You said something that wasn't entirely 100% ball-sucking, so you're a piece of garbage. I hope you lose. Fuck you. What was that? You used to be my attorney general. I don't care. Fuck you.
No loyalty whatsoever. No.
Donald Trump has loyalty to two things. One, himself, and two, Russian hookers piss. So...
And they're all roasting her. Regular liberals do not like this woman. They're freaking out, and they're like, I guess I have to vote for Trump.
Where are they?
And Trump supporters are laughing, saying,
Trump, who are these liberals? Who are these liberals saying, well, I don't like the kids in cages or the massive tax cuts for the rich and the fact that he's one of the most incompetent racist pieces of shit in the world, but I'm going to vote for him because black lady is scary.
Yes. Where are these people? Tim, there's so many of them. Why didn't you queue up some of their tweets before your show?
Exactly.
Where are they?
This is why I had to show you, because it's so stupid. The only thing he's showing us is something that completely refutes the point he's trying to make. He claims that there are other tweets which, back up his argument, but he doesn't show them. Why are you showing these ones then? What? It's oh my god! You just think you're the most incompetent twat.
Yeah.
You really are.
Where are your receipts? Yeah. Where are your receipts? Bring them. I don't see anything.
They're tucked away in the beanie. Clearly.
Take the beanie off and show us, Tim. Oh wait, I mean the one on your head.
No, the head on the top of your shoulders, please.
And they just handed the election to Trump. I'm gonna show you the polls. Let's read. We also have Linda Sarsour. It's no secret.
They just handed the election to Trump. Yeah, the vice presidential pick. I think a lot of people were like, you know what, I love Joe Biden, but I'm not voting for him if he chooses Kamala Harris. What are you talking about? Who are these fucking people?
Yeah, let's see the tweets. Come on, he's going to read out another one. Says, hey, I have criticisms, but it's time to unite and get behind our ticket. So let's...
Good that I have disagreements with both VP Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris, but I know what I need to do. Elect the Biden-Harris ticket and prepare to hold them accountable in the White House. You know what the problem is? The left was happy, the far left, the leftists. Many of them thought that Joe Biden was at least malleable. You know, that you'd get him in there and he's not what you want, but you can push him and he'll give in. Kamala Harris isn't. I mean, kind of. She is definitely trying to pan.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
He is going scary black woman. He's just going completely racist.
Not just that, but he's literally saying, he's literally just said, she's not malleable. Well, she kind of is, but she's not. Like, what? You're refuting yourself in real time. This is...
Also, if people on the left thought Biden was so malleable, then like they wouldn't have to talk so much about pressuring or call him a moderate or like be angry at him all. I mean, he's literally just making shit up now.
Yeah.
He's making shit up.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
For sure, but she's an authoritarian, despotic individual who laughs at oppressing like poor people. You know what I mean? There you go. And now
wait. And Trump is doing what exactly?
Look, Kristi.
Gassing protesters to do a photo op outside a church?
Yeah. Well, what's more important? People's right to freely assemble, to ask for redress of the government, or the ability of the president to hold a Bible word?
Well, I guess we know where Tim falls on that spectrum.
Yeah, but it's definitely Kamala that's the authoritarian. Yeah. Okay.
Clark Humphrey, I suppose, from the Biden team. And he says, and just like that, 4 to 5 p.m. this evening just became our best fundraising hour ever over at Team Joe. Obviously, this is a huge day for the campaign, with Kamala Harris joining the team. And I think it's only a sign of the great things to come. Well, congratulations. Well,
why did he read it out? It literally refutes the point he was making, and he goes, well, congratulations. Like the most passive-aggressive bitch move you've ever seen in your life. And why would you show us the evidence that the argument you're trying to spin is incorrect?
Yes, he claimed, he led with this saying, progressives and liberals, or progressives and moderates, are fighting each other.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to show nothing that showed anybody fighting with anyone.
Yeah, showed literally no evidence of anything. Ridiculous.
Check
this out. Gundlach says Trump will win, calls Harris too charismatic. That I find interesting. But what is this?
But this is just an opinion piece in Bloomberg.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Jeff Gundlach.
I don't even know who Jeffrey. No idea.
Should we see? Who's Jeff?
Yeah, is it an opinion?
Jeff Gundlach. Who the fuck is this guy? Jeff Gundlach. Truth Gundlach. Okay. A Bills fan. Shame. From LA.
He's a CEO for a fucking company.
Yeah, double line CEO.
Looks like he's a CEO. What the fuck would he know about politics? Literally nothing.
She did not understand.
My mom Yeah, the government doesn't know that you're a CEO and should be supporting your mom. So imagine that. Not everybody's mom has access to a CEO for a kid because they're building on their white privilege, Jeff.
Yeah, the Democrats have no leader, Republicans have no leader, Antifa has no leader, Black Lives Matter has no leader. I don't think...
Wow, what great political analysis.
I don't think he's necessarily knowledgeable.
Random businessman, not... he's got an opinion. It's Bloomberg. Like, who fucking cares what this guy thinks? Nobody. Nobody. You still there? How come I'm not getting your sound?
Hello?
Is that my internet or yours?
Sorry.
Oh, you're back.
I'm back. Yes. Yeah.
The violent, sexy dancing.
You're welcome.
Flint will be so happy.
Who is this guy? Jeffrey Gundlach says he thinks Donald Trump will win re-election because polls showing otherwise don't reflect the true support for the president.
Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah. Is he an expert in polling? Then who cares what he fucking thinks? Honestly.
Will Joe Biden beat Donald Trump in November? I don't think so. Gundlach said during a webcast Tuesday for his company's closed-end funds. I'd bet against that. I think the polls are very, very squishy because of the highly toxic political environment in which we live. On Biden's choice of Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate, Gundlach said she is a little too charismatic. I don't think it's a good pick. She might be a little bit dominant with her personality. I was saying something like this the other night on the IRL podcast, that basically Kamala Harris she's a Democratic A-lister. So, maybe it's fair to say they're B-listers because they're not quite as good as the A-list, but she's still prominent and well-known.
The fuck is he? What basis is he drawing any of this up? Well, like in his head, they've got a literal A-list and a B-list. What?
No, I tell you where Tim gets his information. He takes a finger, slides it up his behind, digs around in his ass till he gets something like a nugget or whatever, and then he pulls it out and sniffs it, and whatever things that come into his mind while he's sniffing his own poo is what he says.
A chicken.
Yeah, and we don't want to have a charismatic politician on a ticket.
No.
Yeah. There's only so much charismatic a white man can handle. And apparently a black woman just has a bit too much for him. So based on his inability to handle her, she's going to lose.
Yeah, they're literally the racist. She's a bit dominant, isn't she? She's a bit fierce.
Yeah, which is fine in a man, but threatening in a woman for some reason.
Yeah, Donald Trump can literally go out there and say he wants to totally destroy a foreign country, which is what he literally said about North Korea, where, tens of millions of innocent people live, lest we forget. That's fine, but Kamala Harris, she's a bit too strident in her talking. She talks a little bit too confidently.
Yeah, reminds me of Chuck Todd when he criticized Hillary Clinton for being too prepared for a debate. I'm like, oh, fucking hell. Right. It's like the Goldilocks thing. It's a little, not prepared enough. You can be over prepared, and then you got to criticize women for being prepared because, for fuck's sake, like the shit that women candidates have to deal with, and women of color. Yeah. Oh, by the way, just I thought it was kind of interesting. Charlemagne the God, and I think this is something just against Tim Pool. Charlemagne the God was on his show, and he took time out to say that even though he has some problems with Kamala Harris, that she is going to get attacked with racism and sexism, and that it was up to people in the Black community to stand up for her and stand up with her against those attacks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's a kind of inspiration and unity that really threatens conservative white guys.
Yeah. Indeed.
Hey, Aruka.
Now, I just want to point out a couple of things before we get on. Notice this paragraph here. Okay. It does say that Gunlack predicted Trump would win in 2016, but it also says that in January he said he didn't think Biden would win the Democratic nomination and called him unelectable.
Dude with a random opinion gets an article written about him.
Yeah, I don't think...
Because he's rich and white.
I don't think, Tim, this is necessarily a fantastic political thought leader. I think it might just be a rich guy.
I don't think Nate Silver includes him in his estimates of polling.
Yeah, not just that, but Tim's so against.
Sargon said he was overprepared.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Tim doesn't like establishment folk talking about politics, obviously, which is why he's dealing with a gold trader who doesn't know anything.
Nobody's fucking heard of.
No.
Yes.
But just a rich dude. Okay.
Mike Pence was not particularly well known. Tim Kaine was not particularly well known. They want the president to shine. Kamala Harris outshines Joe Biden. I'm not saying she's good or like her, but she is definitely more dominant than...
But that's good, because Joe Biden needs to shut the fuck up.
Oftentimes, yeah. See, here's the thing. Donald Trump he wants to be the alpha in the room. He wants to be the most important person all the time. So anyone, he can't stand Anthony Fauci because Fauci's positive poll ratings are better than his.
Yeah.
And he's mad about that, right? Joe Biden, when he was talking about Kamala Harris, he said, if you're going to be my VP, I want you to be the last person in the room. After we sit through everything and we hear it, I want to hear what you have to say I want you to have the last word with me, because he sees that as a partnership. Because I think he understands that the vice president can be basically a shoe shiner for the president, or they can be part of the team. And Biden wants a teammate, not a coffee fetcher.
Yeah.
And Mike Pence is a coffee boy. He doesn't do anything. Trump doesn't respect him at all.
No.
And Biden is not like that. He's
a little doormat. He sends him out. Basically, Trump sends him out there to talk to the religious folk. Mm-hmm. That's basically all he does.
Well, initially, Mike Pence was in charge of the pandemic response because Trump didn't want to get too close to it, right? And then they started doing the daily press briefings. And initially, if you remember, it was Mike Pence and Anthony Fauci. And then Trump saw the ratings and pushed his way in, and Mike Pence just disappeared and got sent to you go to the meetings, I'll do the press conferences.
Yeah.
That's what Trump thinks of Mike Pence. Nothing.
Yeah. Which is what he thinks of everyone.
Yeah. Yes, true.
And Joe Biden is. And I mean, it's really tough for Joe Biden because he can't talk straight. How's he going to actually have a campaign rally? He's going to be picking up his sentences for him. He's going to sit back and I'll tell you what we're going to see. We're going to see these rallies where Joe Biden's effectively going to be sitting in a wheelchair with a burlap, blanket or something over his lap and hips, with his wrists dangling, and him going, and Kamala Harris is.
What?
Did you see their announcement this week?
What cartoon world does he think exists?
In his head.
Yeah. Look, he imagined an entire little world for himself there. That was quite
There's
sweet.
not going to be any rallies, you dumb shit. Tim's world. Just like, it's like Homer Simpson and the monkey that's just banging the symbol over and over.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's like inside Tim's head.
It's going to be running around.
Also, they had a press conference where where he announced, he introduced, they had their first press conference. News media cut away from Trump doing his COVID recitation of the same shit he says every day to cover them.
Yeah.
And he spoke for 19 minutes, she spoke for 16 minutes. They were done in about, a little over half an hour. And everyone was like, oh my God, people who can actually speak to the issue of COVID and talk about the concerns of the American people. Isn't this refreshing?
Full sentences. Oh my God. Yeah.
And he knows how to pronounce the name of national parks.
No, it's fine.
So anyway.
No, it's absolutely fine, Krista.
Circles on the stage talking about her policies and pandering to whoever she thinks she needs to pander to. Joe Biden's going to be sitting there just going, and that's what we're going to see. But basically, it's kind of what he's saying. He says,
you're an idiot.
Much can happen between now and Election Day. I think there's a lot of time here. There's going to be a lot of twists and turns, he said. Gundlach predicted Trump's win in 2016, has criticized Biden's electoral chances and that of other Democratic candidates in January.
So he's a GOP hack, is essentially the point. Which, I mean...
Yeah, no, but I want him to read out where he gets it wrong about...
He said he didn't think Biden would win the Democratic nomination, and in March he called him unelectable. Whoa, wow. Gundlach said he expects...
Just going to ignore him getting it wrong, though.
No. He said unelectable in the Democratic nomination, you fuckwugget.
Yeah. Not just that, but
God, Tim is dumb.
Just ignore the fact that he got that bit wrong. Just ignore that completely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Told to keep trading higher. Okay. He said he wouldn't be surprised to see the market return to its March lows. Sure, whatever. I don't know if this guy is right or wrong. There's one guy who predicted he has a forecast model predicted every election, going back to early 1900s, and he says Trump's going to win based on the primary votes. Another dude who has another forecast model apparently says Trump is going to lose, and
Another dude? Well, this sounds like very good, well-researched stuff you've got here, Tim. One dude says... I can't
believe people pay him for this shit.
One dude says he'll win, and one dude says he'll lose. Okay.
People with no professional experience or degrees or understanding of the math or statistical modeling that goes behind these have opinions. Great research, Tim.
Well, it's not even that, because we don't even know who these people are. They could be really well-researched, fantastic experts in their field, or it could just be Jim Bob on Facebook. Who knows?
Predicted
I'm
Trump
going to
would win.
guess a CEO doesn't have a great understanding of political vote models.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, more specifically, this one dude and this other one dude that Tim has referenced as his polling data. He's not shown us anything, not given us a name.
Yes.
Just one dude. One dude.
The expert one guy and then another guy.
Yeah. Unless he's Spanish and his name's Juan Guy, which would be something, But he's not giving us a name at all. So I mean, it means nothing.
I got nothing.
Yeah, it means literally nothing. Yeah.
And so there you go. And now we got this guy predicted Trump's going to win. Now saying Trump is gonna win again. I don't know what it means, man. I'll tell you this.
So the same people who wanted Trump to win in 2016 want him to win this time. I'm shocked, Kristi.
Yeah. How about this? How about you go to actual polling websites?
He did. He went to the site of one guy and then this other one guy. What more do you want?
And he went to Bloomberg about the markets, in the markets section.
Yeah, a guy that was mostly talking about like gold stocks and stuff. Who cares then? I mean, someone who trades in like precious metals isn't necessarily the siren of psephology. So
no, definitely not.
My personal opinion, And you can't just sit back and accept this, like think it's an inevitability. I do think Trump's going to win at this point. I think Kamala Harris was the Democrats saying, you know what, F the progressives, just cut them out. They were trying to pander them. They'll still try and pander on policy as a sort of, look, you get what you deserve, but we'll throw you a bone. And I think a lot of people are going to protest vote. I bring you now to the ever so famous Sean King. Jeffrey.
Okay, just again, she is the second most progressive senator. She's more progressive on the general progressive agenda than Bernie is. So this, yeah. I mean, again, Tim never knows what he's talking about, but okay. Yeah, he's thinking out of his ass again. And all this like, oh yeah, a bunch of people are going to protest vote. Fucking high. He's so high. All right.
Brewer says, this is the grand epitome of the 2020 Democratic Party. Sean King flip-flopping on Biden and Kamala is an exclamation point on how shallow the party is. Everything they tell people is a fraud. It's literally all a scam. Yes.
But if we just go back a second, because Tim's covering up the dates here, that's from 2018. Quite a lot's happened in the last 2 years, Tim. Yes. It is possible that things might have progressed to the point where, you know, you might go, well, I don't particularly like them, but I'll support them.
I will also say, I don't know. I know what I know of Sean King is mostly secondhand. So I see people talking about Sean King. He is not liked by the K-Hive. He has apparently a lot of cons that he runs, and he's not like any official member of the Democratic Party that I'm aware of. He holds no offices. He's literally just a guy online.
Yeah, let's say he's a polarizing figure.
Yes. Yeah. And not the Dem Party.
No, he's, well, I mean, I was shocked that he wasn't chosen as vice president pick. I thought Biden, it was a shoo-in that he would convince Biden, but apparently not.
Everything they tell people is a fraud. It's literally all a scam. Yes, it is.
Yes.
When I hear Donald Trump say he wants to do something, he really wants to do it. Trump wants to build a wall. Well, he's trying to build a wall. He's getting his wall system, his bollard fence, whatever, but he...
So when he said he wanted to get Americans all covered under healthcare, he really wanted to do that, did he?
Plan that's coming out every 2 weeks and then never appears.
Yeah. But when he says he wants to do a thing, he wants to do a thing. Doesn't mean he's going to try and do a thing.
Do you know what Trump did? He made an executive order saying that insurance companies can't discriminate for insurance policies based on pre-existing conditions. That's exactly what it says in the ACA.
I was about to
he
say,
literally just plagiarized.
Yeah, he just did Obama
from Obama. Yeah.
Which he spent the last 5 years
tried to take credit from what a black man did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, to be fair, it's clearly a thing in the Trump family because his wife's been doing it to Barack Obama's wife all these years. So
yes, stealing shit.
Yeah, let's just steal the stuff that the successful, clever black people did.
Yep. And then, hey, look, that means I did
we
it.
white people over here are hucksters. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. So just they seem like they seem confident in it. They knew what they were up to. So let's just do their shit. Maybe I can make it.
Basically, it's keeping.
Here's a pitch, Donald, for your presidential campaign. Yes, we can.
Well, Donald Trump just looks at American history and says, "Hey, look how far white people have gotten stealing things from black people and people of color.
Exactly.
Let's just keep trying that."
Exactly. Yeah, it worked for 200 years. Yeah. Why not?
He wanted to do it. He wanted to bring factories back. He's doing it.
No, he's not. No, he's not, Tim. No, he's not. Just fundamentally, no.
No,
you're a
mining
liar.
is down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jobs in coal are down.
Yeah.
Since he went into office. Yeah. Idiot.
To end these nasty free trade deals, he really does it. You take a look at these Democrats and these progressives, these establishment types. Yes, these are the people who are endorsing Kamala Harris, the progressives they claim. And no. The Rashida Tlaib. Come on. These are people who are in the establishment now. They...
It's like, oh, brain fart. I'm just contradicting myself. How do I get myself out of this?
So Rashida Tlaib is a dangerous Marxist who's also the establishment. Okay, babe.
He talks such shit.
Yeah.
One, everybody ragged on AOC after she got elected and then immediately started flip-flopping on a ton of issues that normally the far left actually liked. Don't get me wrong, she is far left. But they're saying these things because
like
I think they're trying to be kind of like
She did a video in college dancing, Kristi. What more
no,
evidence
not
do you
Tashida.
need? No, he's saying AOC is the far left.
Oh, I thought he was still talking about
he moved on to AOC briefly. I think he's going to go back to Talib, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
But he was saying that AOC is far left. Which, I mean,
okay.
In American sense, maybe, but not by any other sense at all.
He won't give examples. He'll just say dumb things.
Yeah,
will come out of his mouth. Okay.
Wedge in the door. You know, they're far left. They'll play the political establishment game and clap and cheer for Kamala, and they're trying to hold the door open for everybody else. Sean King.
It's these. You can always tell an idiot because they think that politicians doing politics is bad.
Yes, yeah.
Like that's literally what you just described there, Tim. Is
Beanie Boy
is politics? You just described politicians trying to have people they politically agree with become more influential in the political dialogue. I mean, forgive me for saying this, but that's kind of what politicians do. You know.
You have to, I mean, in order to get elected, you have to appeal to quite a lot of people. Yeah. Which means having rigid ideology just narrows your ability to appeal to enough people to get elected.
Yeah.
So they're constantly recalibrating. Also, they have to work within the compromises and the options that they have in front of them.
Yeah.
They aren't just, they don't have perfect agency. They can't force their will in policy.
Well, exactly, yeah, because you're in a democracy of 300 million people. There are lots of competing forces. Mm-hmm. That's why, I mean, however much a person may want to criticise Bernie Sanders, he did come out and support Hillary Clinton. He has come out and supported Biden and Harris. He's playing the game. That's how you do it, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a shameful thing to do. That's how you achieve anything.
If you think that's shameful, then you shouldn't be in politics. You can go be ideological somewhere else, but you're not going to get anywhere if you aren't willing to compromise to get you the steps ahead, moving forward to get you to what you ultimately want. Nobody in politics ever gets exactly what they want right away.
Yeah. Which is what I was saying earlier to the birdie or bus people. If you think in any way Trump is going to be better for what the things you care about, you're an idiot. I'm sorry.
Here are the only, in America at least, the only time a group or a constituency of people or part of the population can get exactly what they want is a Supreme Court decision. I mean, like Roe v. Wade, rights to abortion access were never granted by the Congress and the president. That was a legal decision by the courts. Even Brown versus the Board of Education, that didn't go through Congress. That was instituted by the courts. Yeah. So in terms of those major rights, a lot of major rights don't come through legislation. They've come through the Supreme Court. When they do marriage equality, The
only other time.
So yeah. Anyway,
the only other time
politics is complicated.
The only other time a group gets everything they want is the NRA.
Oh no! Oh my God! Did you see how much trouble they're in? Yeah. I watched the lawful masses reading out of the indictment. They are fucked.
Yeah, didn't they steal tens of millions of dollars from their
millions?
Yeah,
mostly Wayne LaPierre, but other people in his little circle. But it is so clear. It is so beyond even reasonable doubt. And here's something I learned from watching the news, from watching Morning Joe is. It's not a criminal case. What the Attorney General in New York or whatever, right? But it's a civil case because it's about the regulations of a foundation, and that's not part of the criminal. It's part of the civil court. But this is it. If you are in a criminal court case, you have a beyond reasonable doubt threshold that a jury has to meet. But in a civil case, it's only the preponderance of the evidence.
Right.
Basically, there has to be more evidence against you. But it doesn't have to be beyond a reasonable doubt. And that woman who is bringing that case has receipts. She can tell you exactly on what day he took an unnecessary trip to go pick up his niece and how much it cost. She's got it by dates. They are going down They're going to get, I mean, I see no reason why they're not going to get dissolved. They might reform in another state, but they will not be able to be based out of New York state ever again. Just like the Trump Foundation. Just like, yeah, and good, because that is a con. The NRA is a fucking con.
Yeah.
And if you want to just savor the Schadenfreude, I can send you the link, because it's wonderful to listen to that all being exposed.
Yeah.
Anyone care? It's a Leonard French, Lawful Masses. Just do Lawful Masses NRA and it'll pop right up. Oh, that was good to listen to. I was just walking around my mouth open going, no! Sorry, go ahead.
Are we finished?
Delay. I was just very excited.
Can we let the white man speak for once? Please.
Yeah, let's see the stupid flow. Let's see the idiocy flow out of his mouth.
He says, I'll be frank and tell you 2 Democrats that I am 99% sure I won't be supporting, primarily because of their dismal history on criminal justice reform over the course of their entire careers, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They both helped build and advance mass incarceration. See, that's true. And that's one of the reasons I really do not like Biden and Harris and wouldn't want.
Whereas Donald Trump's been really good on prison reform, which is why Tim's going to vote for
claims
him.
For one thing, because Tim's never changed his opinion on his politics.
No, well, he's still on the left, yeah. Absolutely.
Want to vote for them. Trump, on the other hand, has a limited political history, but at least he pushed criminal justice reform.
When did that happen?
Well, there was something that Jared pushed through, and now Trump really wishes he hadn't done it.
But what was it?
But it was like back. I remember there might have been something with Congress. I know he did some pardons for Kim Kardashian had somebody she wanted to see out of prison, so he got to bring Kim Kardashian to the White House.
And he gave a pardon to Dinesh D'Souza.
Joe Arpaio.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another. Yeah.
So he's really using it on only the best cases, you understand?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Anyway.
So okay, I kind of like that he wants to pull out of Afghanistan. What am I supposed to say? Yeah, the orange man is bad.
No. What am I supposed to say? That you're not voting for him? Is what you're supposed to say, really.
That's easiest. Right.
I mean, I don't care whether you particularly like Harris or Biden, Tim. And plus, don't pretend like, I really want to vote for the Democrats, but I've got no choice but to vote for Trump, because we know the grift. We know what you're doing.
I guess, but compared to this...
Sorry, there's a slight lag, people. Go on.
Yeah, sorry, there is a lag, yes. But the whole thing is like, who the fuck cares what Sean King thinks? I mean, we do stuff here on Twitter, but when we actually have real news or an actual question, we will look it up. We will go and look up the data or whatever else. We don't just like pull up one person's opinion and act as if like that is like representative of the Democratic Party or somehow that's he's literally a guy on Twitter that a lot of people have problems with. So.
Absolutely.
Garbage.
Come on. Now Sean King is like, that's it for me. I am incredibly proud to see a brilliant black woman, an HBCU grad, chosen as a vice presidential nominee. I've done political work my whole life. It's rarely things dreams are made of. Kamala Harris is the most progressive VP nominee in American history. No, she isn't. Check us out. Brianna Joy Gray, formerly of the
Does he want to give an example of someone he thinks is more progressive?
This is, remember the woman that Bernie, after the election, said she doesn't work for me anymore?
Yeah.
Threw her under the bus?
Yeah.
This is her.
Yeah, because she's mental.
Because she was getting in fights with people on the left on Twitter, and he finally just disavowed her. So,
yeah, exactly, because she's fucking crazy.
He's got the two dodgy as fuck people on the left, and those are his main sources. It just tells you how biased he is.
Yeah, this is not propaganda at all. This is genuine journalism. This is analysis, Kristi. Tim is a trustworthy person we should listen to.
I'm starting to think the beanie is actually to keep his brains from sliding out of his ears.
And I love it. I love it because he predicted Ilhan Omar would lose her seat in Minnesota. And literally it's trending #1 on the Twitter page.
She won.
Yeah, look, she's literally there. Oh, that's
hey, Tim, you're wrong again.
That's beautiful, man.
Still wrong after all these years.
Yeah. So, like I say, the fact that he's predicting a Trump landslide, I mean, in this picture is evidence that Biden's going to win. Simple.
Sanders campaign. The main opposition to Harris, as she announced her campaign, came from black and brown people from her own state who experienced her criminal justice policies firsthand. It's bogus to try to cast opposition to her as whites who just don't get representational value. Yep. People are trying to claim that because Kamala Harris is a black woman, that minority communities are all cheering. Brianna Joy Gray is saying...
I don't think they're saying all of them are.
No, but if you look at the polling, she was polling the best of all the running VP picks in communities of color. Like, that's based on a recent polling data, not just sort of what was happening on Twitter.
Yeah, and you can absolutely pull out one or two black people that don't like her. Of course.
Yes, because you can always do that with every group.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Do you want to go and talk to black people about their opinions on Donald Trump, Tim? Because I suspect
let's spend some time.
They won't be overwhelmingly positive, is my thought.
But let's see. Oh, here, and look what she's replying to. I know a lot of white people on my lefty feed have had their reservations about Harris. But I'd like to point out that a lot of non-white people on my lefty feed are excited to vote for her in a way people are not excited to vote for the actual nominee. That's what she's replying to. Yeah. So. Yeah.
And again,
it's also.
I'm not a massive fan.
It's bogus to say that whites who just don't get representation. She actually, the woman she's replying to didn't even say that. Brianna Joy Gray is making a straw person argument.
Yeah.
So,
now I'm
sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out I'm not a fan of Kamala Harris, but again, that's not what this election is really about. You know, that's not really the point. And there is representational value. There's no point denying that. The first black person and the first woman to become either president or vice president would be a big step forward. It's not. It's not going to solve racism. It didn't when. The first black woman, not the first black person, obviously. Barack Baza was the first, wasn't he? But, yeah. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, if I could. It was just interesting because again, even though Barack Obama was biracial, it was a shortcut to say he was black. Yeah. Now, Kamala is both. She's got Indian heritage and Jamaican heritage, and it's interesting when I told my friend who's Indian that Joe Biden picked Kamala Harris. He went, "Oh, the Indian woman."
Oh, and because they.
This just kind of shows me. Of course, he would say, "Oh, she's Indian," and he's like, "Yeah, I know some people who are really excited about this."
Yeah, Jamaican Twitter was was fucking hype over this. Yeah, in the same way that Kenyans referred to Barack Obama as the first American Kenyan president.
Yes.
Which is because he's
obviously an identification.
His dad was from Kenya, and QAnon, his dad was from Kenya. Okay, shut up.
Yes, not him.
No, he was from Hawaii, which is a different place, although not that far from the U.S. mainland by comparison. Anyway, it's a freak state. Oh shit! Am I gonna have to do a war corpse and apologise? Anyway,
can I before you hit play? Oh, just because I know there's a lag, I want to get in there to have you throw it to me when I can talk. Okay, well then I'll talk. So the point I was going to make was, so when we were here live on air, and I didn't feel like I could celebrate entirely like the way I wanted to because I had to be a little bit dignified and I didn't want to kind of showboat.
And if there's one thing this show is known for, it's absolute dignity, piety, some would say. Yeah.
I was very happy, but I wasn't it wasn't groundbreaking for me. I was like, yeah, there was a lot of qualified women. She was a qualified woman. She's a woman of color. Great. I'm really happy with the pick. But then the next day, reading on Twitter, someone told me the story, or someone shared the story of someone who was in Texas phone banking for Biden. And she got like a 91-year-old grandma on the line. And she said, we just want to know if we can count on your vote for Biden-Harris. And the woman, because it was just like literally the next day, he picked Kamala Harris, and the woman on the phone said yes, and the woman was black and the lady on the other side was black too, and the black grandmother started to cry, and talked about how her great-grandfather was a slave and how one of her members of her family got lynched. And she was just started like praying, like, I'm just going to pray for them and I'm so happy. And the woman on the call started like getting teared up too. And so I think because I had that moment with Hillary as a white woman, when Hillary was nominated for me, that was where the ceiling was broken. And it really hit me how, again, intersectionality, like my white privilege, I just was like, I was already like, yeah, Kamala, that's great, let's go. But for so many women of color, this pick is them. Like they see themselves in her in a way that I don't, because I already had that with Hillary. And so I think, yeah, the power of it, you want to talk about a motivated base. I think the enthusiasm gap for Biden and Trump is really going to narrow in certain demographics now. And it is, like, representation matters. So,
yeah. Absolutely. No, good point. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so I was just going to say that, because, like you say, one of her parents was Indian, one was Jamaican.
Mom.
Yeah. The Trutherism started already. Yeah, I know.
Ridiculous.
I mean, literally, she's already been through this test and she's been elected. It's fine. Like, obviously, she's fine. I think the Biden campaign might have checked. Possibly.
Sure they checked.
It's not as if he's been the vice president before and would know, and his team would know what that would involve. No, they just choose a random person off the street and like, what's your name? Oh, where are you from? Oh, okay, that'll do. Yeah, come on then. Like, no, they get vetted.
Yeah, Biden knows what it's like to deal with birtherism because he had to watch Barack Obama go through that shit.
Yeah.
So he's probably very sympathetic to that kind of bullshit and stress and just how demeaning it is already.
Well, exactly, yeah, exactly. And, this is clearly another example of Joe Biden working with foreigners. He worked under a Kenyan president, and he's now working with an Indian Jamaican interloper. Is a disgrace to America. What a communist. That's a joke, everybody. I'm literally doing. I'm channeling my inner Alex Jones.
QAnon.
If you don't mind. Yeah. Well, did you see Alex Jones this week screaming about authoritarianism in a park in Austin?
No.
You went to a park and they were like, because they've got like local ordinances about wearing masks in public and stuff.
Yeah.
And now again, it's not the law because he wasn't wearing a mask and he wasn't arrested. It's just a local ordinance, like trying to encourage people to do it. And he was screaming at these people in the park who were wearing masks. He's like, the fuck is wrong with you?
Leave them alone.
Yeah, they're just in a park.
Like, whatever happened to individual choice?
Yeah. You don't wear a mask, you aren't arrested. It's not you screaming about authoritarianism is sort of belied by the fact that you haven't been arrested.
Yes.
Or in any way even castigated by these people. They want to be left alone to sit in the park. Anyway.
Yes.
Sorry.
What a freak. Lizard man.
And no, that's not true. She mocked and laughed as she locked people up for things like smoking for marijuana related charges. I'm telling you, man, Trump should come out.
As I said, the numbers dropped.
There should be a review board to start.
Yeah, and also, again, if this was such a big issue for you, why are you not bothered by the fact that Donald Trump has come out and explicitly said that he doesn't want a federal legalization of marijuana, which would end this problem completely? That would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But no, no. Apparently, it's a problem when and again, not a fan. I think it's worth definitely ramming that point home. But Kamala Harris as AG, whose task was to enforce the law. Okay.
And also, marijuana incarcerations dropped while she was AG by a lot. So, but Tim doesn't know about that. He just goes by whatever he sees on Twitter.
Exactly. The incarcerations for weed were very, very high and got slightly less high over time. That's a joke about being stoned.
I see what you did there. Yeah. I see what you did.
But also, it's why is anyone going to prison for smoking weed at all? That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
well,
fucking
it was a way
weed.
to incarcerate black people back from the it's right from the Nixon. It was hippies and black people who they assumed smoked weed and they could get them in prison, which is why black people get incarcerated and stopped 3 times more than white people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Even though they smoke at similar rates.
Yep.
Yeah.
Total racial bias in enforcement.
But that needs to stop because that's fucking barbaric.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
unconditionally pardoning many of these nonviolent marijuana offenders at the federal level. Many. Not all. That's what the review would be for, like to see who. We need to release as many people as possible. I say not all because there could be some people who have committed a violent crime but got pleaded down to some charge, or in the past they've been convicted of violent crimes. It's the point I'm trying to say is, man.
Yeah, but you're going to vote for the guy who's explicitly said he isn't going to do that. So your criticism falls rather flat in lieu of you actually following through on the thing you claim to care about, Tim. You lying bastard.
Here are all the policies that I disagree with her on. These are all the ways she's bad. Now, let's not talk about the way that Trump is actually worse on these.
Significantly worse, yeah. Like, I think they've both in the past at least made overtures to marijuana legalization, whereas Trump has explicitly said no. So, I mean, again, your faux outrage at these people is remarkable. That's what it is. This is so performative from Tim. This is virtue signaling. This is literally virtue signaling. Yeah,
100% pure.
Kamala Harris is not popular for this position, and most Americans at this point don't care. We got overcrowded prisons. This is the kind of criminal justice reform that Trump could enact that most people either don't care about or cheer for. We got some more. Brennan Joy Gray says we are in the midst of the largest protest movement in American history. The subject of which is excessive policing. And the Democratic Party chose a top cop and author of the Joe Biden crime bill to save us from Trump. The contempt for the base is wow. And then what do we hear? We got Molly Katz.
Bernie voted for the crime bill, right?
Yeah.
Don't mention that. She doesn't. Anyway.
No.
It was the 1980s, and people were under different pressure, and
yeah, exactly. Yeah, people do like change.
Not saying it's right, but politicians like Bernie fucked up some stuff, and they need to be able to evolve and move on. You can't trap somebody in the past because it's politically, well, you can, but you're a piece of shit if you go, hey, back in the day they did something terrible, now they are completely different and they want to undo the damage and they want to make things better.
Yeah,
because all politicians, if you're around long enough, will do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And they should. I don't want rigid, inflexible people. Yeah. I don't want people who blow with the wind either, but you've got to be able to change and grow and develop.
Yeah, and the kind of reforms that people are talking about now in Portland, Kamala Harris was talking about and trying to institute back in California when it wasn't that cool to do this stuff. So anyway, we'll just let Tim spew his shit.
It says we are in the midst of the largest extinction level emergency in American history. And the Democratic Party chose a top progressive.
We can leave it there if you want.
Okay, because it's just I think we've been going almost 2 hours with Tim now.
Have we?
So that's
we haven't. No, we started at 7:30.
Yeah, it's 9:30 almost.
Oh fuck! Oh shit! Sorry. Okay. Do you want to?
I know.
Do you want to do bookmarks then?
Yeah, we can just. I only have a couple. Because a couple of things I want to get through. I would talk about people's reactions to the announcement, a little reality check compared to. Okay, so you've given me the power. I've got the power. Let me share the screen with you. Let me entertain you. Why do I always sing to fill the time? It's a little bit silly. All right, there we go. Can you see all that?
Hang on a second.
Okay.
I've totally forgotten where I am. Yes, there we go. But hang on.
Like
I need to put you on the screen.
In England?
Sorry.
In your house? Oh, okay.
Well, where am I spiritually? I don't know.
Good question. All right.
Right.
Okay, so let's see. You've got Myth Informed are still selling tickets to their event this Sunday.
Fucking hell. They can't sell 100 tickets.
No.
That is embarrassing.
So they said local Milwaukee businesses, especially the event hall, are experiencing economic challenges. We're honoring our contract. Because obviously that was a discussion they had.
Yeah. Amazing. Oh, did you hear Lauren Chen pulled out as well, didn't she?
Did she? No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why, but she's not going now. Okay. So I don't know who they've got to replace that bristling intellect, but yeah.
All right. I don't know if I can. Oh, I have to minimize this one so that they don't cross over. Yeah. Hold on.
Or just fuck the chat off. They're all absolute trash. I mean, look at them. Jesus. Ugh.
All right.
Poor people.
So,
disgust me.
Okay.
Sorry, go on.
So I looked this up just for reference, and I went back to 2016 to see what the because there's usually a fundraising bump when a vice president pick is announced, and Mike Pence, the Trump campaign announced the day after the announcement, they raised $3.5 million additionally, like on the day that they announced Mike Pence as president. As it is, it looks like the one-day financial bump for Biden announcing Harris is about $20 million.
Wow.
He raised more money in the first 4 hours after her pick than he'd raised on his highest fundraising day. And that's just the first 24 hours. So, and also the whole site, Act Blue, which helps a lot of Democratic candidates, processed $30 million in 24 hours since she was named.
Wow. Her milkshake brings all the cash to the yard.
Quite. She is a little bit in causing some enthusiasm with people. We talked, complete emotional change here, because you know how these bookmarks work.
Yes.
You know how we talk about a lot in the UK about excess deaths? That's one of those statistics.
Are we talking about fertility rates?
Unfortunately, no. No, I'm talking COVID here.
No, that's bringing it back to the joke of Donald Trump saying fertility instead of fatality.
Right. Wait. He said fatality or fatality. Like it's a
blend between fertility. Oh, okay.
Fatality.
So yes, hang on. That's Oh God. That suggests that you impregnate a woman and it's 50-50 as to whether the baby's going to be alive or dead.
Okay, I didn't go there. You did.
I did.
Nothing to do.
Look,
I guess.
the fatality discussion needs to be had on this show for once.
All right, and you're going to have it on your own.
Almost certainly, yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, serious face. Right. They've now brought out an estimate of the total excess deaths, including COVID, compared to previous years, so they can measure the true loss of life, so this is pretty fucking serious. It's actually closer to 200,000 people. The number of people who've died since March is now more than 200,000 higher than it would have been in a normal year.
In America, that's like a reasonable sized town. That's a city.
Yeah, I think that's the size of like the size of Madison, Wisconsin when I lived there, or about there. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
250,000, that's not quite 250,000, but yeah. We hear 165, but those are just COVID deaths. That doesn't take into account all of them. Yeah, that's and really this is why Trump, you want to talk about why Trump is going to lose? Because no matter how much, these are real people who are losing their mothers, their fathers, their brothers, their nephews, their nieces, their coworkers, their church members. This is touching real people's lives. You can see the failure.
No, absolutely.
But I thought it was the first time I'd seen the excess deaths numbers reported anywhere. So I thought it's fucking.
It's half of Miami. Fuck. Wow.
Again, sorry for them. Okay. Change again. Back to the topic. Voters see Harris as more moderate than Trump or Pence. So this is from Morning Consult.
Okay. I mean, yeah, obviously.
Don't tell Tim Pool, though.
No. Well, she's a Marxist, yeah. Well, technically Tim Pool didn't call her a Marxist, but someone else did. We'll get onto it. Yes.
Okay. 37% of voters heard a lot about Biden's selection of Harris. 17% heard a lot about the Kane pick 4 years ago. After hearing about her background and policy positions, 53% approved of her selection. Following her pick, 50% of likely voters said they had a favorable view of Biden, his highest rating since mid-June. So when they asked voters to put them on...
Pence is to the right of Trump, is he? I mean, I suppose socially, maybe, but I mean...
I think people see him as an evangelical.
Yeah, I suppose.
He's not much.
No, I suppose.
I think that...
Also,
because he's also
in that picture, it looks like Trump's giving him some wicked side-eye. Motherfucker.
People
what are you doing to
Trump
the right of me?
Is an adulterer. they know he's an adulterer, that he doesn't understand the Bible. So they probably give him like the Christian bump.
The Christian side bump, yeah.
Yes. So as you can see here, in terms of like where Americans would consider moderate, both Biden is actually like to the right of Harris. She's seen as more progressive than he is, but not probably as progressive as some other people.
Yeah.
So that means that in theory, like if you have most of your voters over here, they are closer to the moderate voters than, but of course, American politics doesn't really work on that left-right spectrum anymore.
No.
I think there was something else.
I don't think a lot of politics do anymore, to be honest, around certainly the Western world. I can't speak for elsewhere. But, yeah.
Apparently, the strongest knocks against Harris had to do with her immigration policies. 42% said her support for providing undocumented immigrants with government-funded health care gave them less favorable view of the California Democrat, while 41% said the same for her support for decriminalizing illegal border crossings. So those are the things that people didn't like about her. I'm trying to see. I think there was.
But if you decriminalize them, they're not illegal anymore. Checkmate.
Yes. But basically, people had a positive view. Democrats are feeling good about Harris, while Republicans are worried.
So this enormously is how you surprised, yeah.
Yep. Apparently, they were given 3 different emotional prompts: confident, excited, or worried. And here you can see Democrats, when they said they were very or somewhat confident, excited, or worried. The Dems are very confident, they're very excited. And 18% are worried. Whereas for Republicans, only 19% said they were confident.
To Brianna Joy Gray's nonsense, less than 1 in 5 black people is very or somewhat worried about the pick. So of black people polled. So I mean, yeah, that's pretty substantial. That if more than 4 in 5 are okay with it, at the very least, the point about the race thing was kind of correct, maybe.
Yeah. So most looks like for black. I mean, they may just pulling weird, groups out here, I guess, to make the chart. This, Democratic, liberal, black, suburban, Republican seems like kind of a weird mix.
Yeah, because there'll be some black people who are also Democrats and suburban, or something.
Well, they'll be counted twice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like black, white, exclusive. Hispanic.
Yeah, they're not exclusive votes, because obviously those numbers don't add up to 100%, as you might be able to say.
Yeah, a lot of times when you see like women and the gender gap with women, a lot of the gender gap with women are women of color, whereas white women are voting, well, married white women in particular, single and like college educated and divorced women tend to vote for the Democrats. But white women really skew that a bit. So when they just say women, you tend to think, I think the media thinks of white women, but it's not. It's a very diverse group of women in that way. So, but anyway, yeah, I think right now the Democrats are feeling very happy after the pick, and people who identify as liberal are feeling pretty happy, and the Republicans are worried, which they should be.
Good. Yeah, if the Republicans are worried, that's good. Yeah.
Yep.
Hang on. Was that Democrats are pleased with Biden? 88%. That's a suspicious number.
Said it made them hopeful. 4 and 5 said it made it confident and proud, happy, or excited. Among black voters and liberals, the sentiment was roughly the same. And here,
calling her my #1 draft pick. This is not the fucking NFL Combine. What are you talking about? Sure.
Well, Trump is saying, she was my #1 pick, and then also I don't understand why Biden picked her because she was mean to him. Yeah, but he's just saying everything.
But it's draft pick. The word draft is weird. Like,
true.
It's not like well, she's taken #1 off the board out of LSU. That's good. Okay, so the #2 pick is Senator blah from Missouri. Like, no, it's not. I like sports, but keep sports and politics separate. I agree with Ben Shapiro on that. Politics and sports should never mix in any way whatsoever. And that's a serious discussion that needs to happen, apparently.
And his wet-ass keyword?
Pussy,
yeah. All right, so let's look at these breakdowns here by category. Again, they got some weird ones.
Well, the Republicans are having a breakdown, which is good, yeah.
Yes. So in terms of favorable, they have pre-post. Dems favorables on Harris pre. I don't know how they're measuring that.
Apparently that's a bit.
I don't know.
Bit weird. Yeah.
That's a bit weird. Oh, it says here pre-announcement poll surveyed almost 2,000 people between July 24th and 26th. Post was on August 12th. Both have margins of error of plus or minus 2%. So that was the methodology.
Well, you notice
so this was just last month.
In every group, even Republicans, their favorability went up after the announcement.
Yeah, I mean that's margin of error, but yes,
well,
for
true,
Democrats she bumped.
Yeah. Whereas with black people, her favorability unfavorability halved, and her favorability shot up by nearly half. So, like that's
Yes.
Again, Brianna Joy Taylor. I mean, I don't want to rag on her too much, but like, she's just talking, fluffed the point, Flubbed, not fluffed. Yes. That would be a different thing.
It looks like just having her named obviously made Republicans intensely dislike her. So
because they're all doing because all of the Republican shitbags like Tim Pool, we just saw her, are now like, oh, she's a communist. So they've had a diet of the last 24 hours of like, well, she's clearly a Marxist, and so the Republicans are obviously gonna, But like I say, within the margin of error, but we went up slightly.
Yeah. Even moderates, almost 20-point increase.
Yeah.
Suburbans went up by like 10, but people who self-identify as moderates went from 35 to 52, and a lot of that came out of people who'd never heard of her. So that's pretty interesting. But the negative stayed pretty much the same. And
even the over 65s who fucking vote.
Yes.
So that's pretty significant. Yeah.
So maybe Tim Pool should have looked at this poll instead of consulting some random fucking guy on
one guy. One guy said he was winning and one guy said he was losing. So 50-50. That's how it works. That's how numbers work.
Kristi. So I think Biden did. All right. Quartering, going anti-vaxxer. I guess being a run-of-the-mill white supremacist wasn't enough for him.
Well, no, because this is exactly we talked about this in the past, haven't we? About it's not just the content creators radicalizing their audience, but the other way around. He realizes the more extreme he goes, the better reactions he gets from those people. So he does,
Also, their Cruel Baby's thesis. How many times a day does he say he's done with Twitter? Yeah, didn't he leave Twitter?
He left Twitter. Yeah, he left Twitter a week ago. But now, technically, I don't know if this is the same person, but he hired a person to tweet on his behalf, a woman called Margaret.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. Which,
So now she's putting out anti-vax stuff under his name.
Yeah. Well, either that or he's still got access and can, put out stuff himself. I don't know. But, yeah.
All right. I love this because to me, it kind of encapsulates that enthusiasm that I told you that I didn't really feel, but I recognize is important for women, a lot of women and other people, just, people in the groups. Also, this woman has flow. Like her flow is great. I absolutely love it. So yeah, I'll just check the volume, and if it's too loud, interrupt for me. Okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Let's go. Kamala, woo. I'm so lit, I don't know what I'ma do. Now that she running with Biden, I'm vibing. You mad and you whack, a black woman made you. She repping AKs, I'm repping DST, but we are all the same. Call it Greek unity. She is my sister and I am her pusher. If it ain't black excellence, it is irrelevant. Why you mad? She with a white man. You better love while you still can. Worry less about her husband and more about where her heart stand. Representation is what we need, and you ain't gonna sit here and tell me that the first black woman VP ain't what little black girls need to see. Check your racism, your sexism, your bigotry at the door, all your insolence and your ignorance. We ain't trying to hear it no more. Kamala Harris is here to stay, despite all the poison you try to spray. If black is king, she is a queen. Guaranteed she rides anyway. Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Also, I know that it's just the angle. Obviously, it's a proper hat. But this is how I imagine Ben Shapiro's yarmulke will be shortly. That's the kind of size. That's the size I'm expecting. It'll start growing and growing until it needs its own fucking postal code.
Yeah. Eric Trump's already calling her a sexist slur.
What did he call her?
I don't even know. Let's find out.
Okay.
Because, I mean, this kind of piece of this, unfortunately, this is going to be background noise.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Is anyone surprised that they're being sexist about her, really? Harris was my number one. Again, Trump called it the number one draft pick. Well, that explains the stupidity. Yes. Brilliant. Also, we know that's not true because we know from behind the scenes that he was saying the exact opposite.
So many.
Yes, he's saying everything about her to try to figure out how to discredit her, and he's just failing. It says, raise your hand if you think Harris was a horrendous, with spelled like whore, like a sex worker slur.
Brilliant. Yeah. Isn't she in like a committed monogamous relationship? Like a marriage and Unlike Donald Trump, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you can literally smell the piss on him. That's how committed to his marriage he is,
Yeah. Harris is the only contender across both presidential tickets who enjoys a net positive favorable rating. Now, the thing is, like, we have to also, like, a little bit get out of our bubble and realize that you and I are much farther left than the average American voter.
Yeah.
And so things that are of concern to us, people just care about shit they care about.
Yeah.
And so, like, where I am on the politics side, a European, is very different because people in Europe are much farther to the left than people are in America. And so for me, it's about triangulating how left can a candidate get and still be electable? How left can you be and still win Ohio or even play in Texas and Florida?
Yeah, exactly.
So always a triangulation there.
Yeah. Although, I mean, I think that's interesting as the actual, to the headline itself. But also, does it not speak quite poorly to the American political system that only one of the four has a favourable net positivity rating?
Mostly people don't like politicians. This is it. Like, mostly they think they're liars and they're manipulative and that they're like sellouts before they even, like, if you ask them, and then they'll ask about, well, what do you think of your member of Congress? Like, oh, she's great.
Yeah.
Like, people like their local representatives more than they like politicians that don't represent them or politicians as a group.
Indeed.
So it's
can I just address
like being a lawyer?
Something from the chat. They said there's nothing wrong with polyamory. That's absolutely true. When I said committed monogamous relationship, I just meant there's literally no like element where even if you wanted to say that polyamory was somehow bad, like, she's clearly not a sexually promiscuous person. Is the point I was
Unlike his dad.
Unlike his dad, yeah.
Who non-consent, like, was cheating behind his back, not with knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes.
And his brother.
He was having sex with.
And his grandfather.
Oh, his brother cheats. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I thought you were.
Oh no, he wasn't fucking his. No, he wants to fuck his daughter, not his son. No. No, I meant his brother. Donald Jr. was also cheating on his now ex-wife with the woman he's currently in a relationship with, who he's probably cheating on as well.
Open relationships, if everyone knows what's going on and is okay with it, who cares?
Yeah, that's great. But clearly those weren't open relationships. Clearly they were greaseballs cheating on their wives. Because
Melania kicked him to the couch for a few nights.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, this is fucking weird. Somebody took over Herman Cain's Twitter account.
Yes.
And was tweeting as Herman Cain, despite the fact that he's dead.
He's very
dead. So they finally
yeah.
changed the name of it.
Can I also just point out, else? When you say he's dead... sorry, go on.
Right. Cute person with a cute cat. Was it?
Yeah. And the cat just starts licking itself. Legend.
Let's see. I don't think I have really much else. Oh, this was Alhana. Just a little shout out. This was they were she was listening to the happy hour, and one topic reminded me of this, which we talked about spaghetti straps.
Yes.
And school boards, we don't have the power to enforce mask policies. Also, school boards, no dreadlocks, no haircuts with designs, no distracting hair colors, no visible shoulders, no bra style showing, no knees showing, no open-toed shoes, no political shirts, no
open-toed shoes.
I mean, I can understand that on a construction site.
Yeah, exactly. But what's the? I mean, I know some people have a foot fetish, but I don't think you can say everything. Otherwise, why not make people wear burqas to school? Like, there's no problem with an open-toed shoe, surely, especially on a hot day. Get some air flowing. You know?
I haven't heard that one personally, but then again, I don't remember what my footwear was in like grade school. This I just thought was kind of fucking funny. Franz Nopska, the gay Hungarian aristocrat who, as well as studying the dwarf dinosaurs of Transylvania and pushing the radical hypothesis that birds were dinosaurs, which ended up being right, was also the first man to hijack a plane and was pretty much the most stylish paleontologist of all time. He was being fabulous.
I don't know if there's a life story that is. I mean, just the phrase studying the pygmy dinosaurs of Transylvania. Dwarf, apologies.
Yes.
The dwarf dinosaurs of Transylvania. That sounds like an amazing, like, fucking shitty prog rock band or something.
Yep. So hats off to you, friends. Salute.
Although he did also hijack a plane, so that's not. I mean, I don't know if that was necessarily a good thing or not.
I mean, I don't know all the circumstances, but I don't think it was quite the kind of. Maybe it was a kind of hijacking, but he went down in history as the first person to hijack a plane. So apparently,
who was the first person to join the Mile High Club?
You don't see often. Who was the first person to get caught?
Yeah, exactly.
I think would be. Who knows what it is?
William Randolph
Imagine
Hearst.
this in Utah.
Sorry, go on.
I'm mentioning this because at first I thought this was a Seattle, Portland, Washington State thing. No, it's Utah. What is Utah known for, Kevin?
Salt.
Yes.
And Mormons.
And Mormons.
Yeah.
Yes. The Salt Lake City police have suspended the use of police dogs after public outcry after video footage. So apparently, Salt Lake City police praised a police dog who bit a black man kneeling on his own back porch with his hands in the air. The video shows officers threatening Ryans with being bitten and praising the dog for attacking him even as he was complying.
Wow.
Even fucking Mormons are like, this shit is enough. And the police are having to back down.
Well, what they could do instead was give all the black people, all 4 of them in Utah, magic underwear.
Maybe they have them already. I don't know.
Does it work for black people?
But I don't think that's enough.
I don't know. I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not an expert vis-a-vis the magical underwear of the Mormons and exactly its efficacy on different racial groupings. So.
No, a little twist here, sidebar in the chat. Orion writes, Kristi, my daughter's friend got sent home for wearing sandals in school. Male students doing the same were not sent home.
What was the? Yeah, Orion. What was the reason for that? Like, I mean, obviously there's the discrepancy of male students not having that same punishment, but did they give a reason as to why that was against the rules? Because, like, like you say, it's not on a building site. You need steel-toe cap shoes, but at school, why do you need a specific type of footwear?
Don't know. Yeah, it's a mystery to me. I thought this was interesting. This next video, pro-life Republicans, if you truly value life, vote for Biden this November. From putting children in cages to ignoring Russian bounties, Trump has made it clear he does not respect human life.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just nice to actually see this is getting like, I'm like, woof. Like be an ally, keep giving, talk your shit. Right, here's Charlemagne the God basically saying, we have to protect her and uplift her as much as possible. And
which one of these 3 gentlemen is Charlemagne the God?
Oh, none of them. I'll get you. Here's the bit with Charlemagne.
Yeah, I was joking, Kristi, because I knew that.
Okay.
I know what he looks
I didn't
like.
know if you actually did.
It's a joke. Yeah.
Here is Charlemagne's new response as someone who's been pretty critical of Biden and at times prosecutors. He says, look, here's what I know. Whether you like Kamala or not, the administration's going to unleash a disgusting attack on her, mainly because she's a black woman. We have to protect her and uplift her as much as possible throughout this campaign. Cornell.
So that was it. That's a bit we saw.
Okay, cool.
And in the other direction, Trump is tweeting about suburban housewives again.
Yeah. Not just that, but he also, I mean, just in perfect timing. Just after this was all announced and he got out of the press conference, which he was cut away from for the announcement. He tweeted out his support for a QAnon person who's won her primary in like Missouri or somewhere. So yeah, that if you wanted any more of an example of the kind of fascist filth that needs to be stopped in November, he gave you a perfect example.
She's one.
Yeah.
Yep. And again, he's kind of linking that this idea of the white suburbs are being flooded with all of these brown people, and Cory Booker is going to be like because he's a black man. Oh no.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fucking
You can't allow
bullshit.
black people
It's
to
just
have
open
like
racism.
housing. By the way, Donald Trump has been sued successfully twice by the federal government for racial letting practices in his buildings. That's the current president of the United States, twice successfully sued for being a racist.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because he's a racist piece of shit.
And again, that's not
Okay,
us. No, we mentioned earlier about holding people to previous events. He hasn't changed.
Yeah.
He hasn't progressed. He's actually gotten worse, arguably.
He's definitely going.
He even murdered
down.
Herman Cain. Lol.
Yes, he did. Oh, here's a little bit of racism for your side of the pond.
Yeah.
So this is Woody Johnson.
Hang on. Well, let's not bury the lead.
Asking the State Department auditors.
No. Time out.
American.
Time
Okay.
out. Let's not bury the lead. That man's name is Penis.
Woody Johnson. Oh, he's the American ambassador to Britain. So apparently he was the one making the racist comments, but to the British.
What's cock up to?
So apparently he said, according to one black female diplomat, told colleagues that Mr. Johnson disparaged her efforts to schedule events for Black History Month, asking her whether he would have to address an audience that was, quote, just a bunch of black people, unquote. Because,
what the fuck?
Yeah. American ambassador to Britain rejecting accusations he made racially or sexually inappropriate comments toward employees.
Hang on, this might be worth a click. Yeah.
All right.
It looks like old Penis is
he's
a complete prick.
Yeah, I guess.
Ironically.
Yep. Collapse. I guess it
would.
all happened on the American embassy. So it happened in London, but it wasn't it's just our American ambassador to Britain. Is urging State Department investigators against publicly reporting allegations that he made sexually or racially inappropriate comments to embassy
This is so
staff.
strange. Why? The idea that Donald Trump would give a high-profile diplomatic position to a racist with sexual proclivities that are maybe a little on the illegal side.
Oh, God. The final report from the State Department's Office of Inspector General, who we've been hearing a lot from Inspector Generals. I didn't even know Inspector Generals were really a thing until the Trump administration, said the staff at the American Embassy in London had reported being subjected to, quote, inappropriate or insensitive comments, unquote, by Johnson on topics that may have included reference to, quote, religion, sex, or color, unquote.
Oh, fuck's sake.
So he's an all-around bigot piece of shit.
Like you said, the first 12 months...
Oh, but he's an old, white, rich man.
The first 12 months of the Biden-Harris presidency is going to be getting rid of scum like this from the system. Essentially kind of dilating the kidneys of the American body politic. Yes.
The first year will just be purges.
Yeah.
Just clean it out. Like Hercules in the stables. Just let a river run through it.
Well, it's like... how do you get rid of cancer? You blast it with fucking... chemotherapy. It kills enough of the cells that you're able to survive.
Go
into
into remission.
Yeah,
exactly. All right, so here's Rudy Giuliani. I'll just let it run. You can hear it.
Is that I once was a prosecutor of a lot more distinction than she was as the United States Attorney in the Southern District of New York. I probably know that job better than I know any. Pamela Harris is the worst nightmare.
Pamela Harris. Yes. Pamela, and that's beautiful. I mean, he can't see what's on the screen, but the fact that the actual name is on the screen and he fucks it up is brilliant. Pamela Harris.
Yeah, but Biden's in cognitive decline.
Yeah. Whereas Rudy Giuliani should be in prison. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's 2 hours. So. That's over. We've more than made up for the time I think that's a good place to call it. We kind of refuted Tim Pool with actual polling data.
I've got
you've got some too.
Couple of bits. Okay. Just a couple.
Okay. All right. Let me stop sharing. Although you don't need me to stop sharing because you are the master of controls. There you go. But I will have to drag you over.
Why are you dragging me anywhere? What?
Yeah. Gotta drag you. Naughty boy. Gotta call you out for your shit.
Yeah. Can you see that, Kristi?
Yep.
Cool.
Yes.
So Ben Shapiro is saying Kamala Harris is a far left radical. Naturally. And not just that, but the idea that she's rehearsed and mechanical. Motherfucker, do you know you're Ben Shapiro? Like. Okay.
Yes. Have you seen your song on Wet Ass P Word?
Indeed. Do you want to hear Ben Shapiro talking about Hitler being a leftist?
Yep, go ahead.
Historically, it stems from the left. Adolf Hitler, an art-loving vegetarian who seized power by wooing voters away from Germany's Social Democrat and Communist parties. The name Nazi is an acronym for the National Socialist German Workers' Party, which...
So Hitler was a leftist because he was a vegetarian who liked to paint?
Yeah, and according to Sargon, he wasn't a sadist.
No.
So you can see they're all reading
clearly
out of the same hymnal.
Indeed. I want to group the aesthetics of K-pop and the sound of Black Sabbath. Is that really too much to ask? No, American. No, it isn't. I'm with you, brother.
Reminds me a little bit of Queen. I think Queen would be an early progenitor of that kind of glamour plus rock.
The forebears of that.
Mm-hmm.
AOC, this was quite nice. If we'd had time, I was going to get into a discussion about good teachers at school. She was responded to this Jacobs guy who apparently taught her in high school, in second grade, whenever that is, about poetry or some shit. And he was like, one of my lowest days this summer, worried about my teaching future, and then this. So again, thank you, teachers.
Yes.
Armored Skeptic says, I'm not dead yet. Shame.
Who cares?
That's a joke, people. That's a joke.
If you have to tweet that, okay.
Yeah. Charlie Kirk says Kamala Harris is a Marxist.
And a cop at the same time.
And a Marxist cop, yeah. Because Karl Marx was massively in favour of the police, as we all know. Anyway. To be a cat in a raincoat walking gracefully through the rain.
Oh, that is amazing. I love that. I had a little yellow raincoat I used to put on Bella. Oh. I've forgotten it until this moment. Yes.
Cats usually don't.
Sweet.
Rory cats would not play this shirt.
No.
Dave, right. Do you want to see Dave Rubin doing some racist accent work?
Oh, do we? Okay. Yeah.
Imagine in the 1930s, right? With 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, we get all these immigrants, right, from all over Europe. And imagine if the presidential candidates had gotten up there, and been like, oh, I see we've got a lot of new Irish citizens. I'm going to give a shillelagh and a potato to all of you. It's like, what? We would think that's either racist or ridiculous or at best the worst pandering nonsense, It's a spicy meatball.
I agree, Dave. It's racist.
Meatball for all of my Italian friends, It's like, what are we letting these guys get away with? It's like... Yeah, like a guy's going to get up there. He's
what the fuck is he talking about?
Like Jackie Mason, so all the Jews are going to get a good filter fish. Imagine in the night.
Oh my God.
He is a master of voices, first and foremost. And secondly, totally not a racist idiot who's just talking shit. Honest.
Yeah.
Honest.
God.
He's, he's one of the worst. No wonder the IDW have given up on him. Because he's just like the worst of the grifters. He's so bad at this. God.
Wait, whatever happened to the IDW? Where are they now?
They're dark, Kristi, so you can't see them. They're like ninjas. Intellectual ninjas.
Yes, that's it. That must be it.
This is modern day conservatism. The thing I told you earlier, Kamala Harris is a Marxist. Also, via skull shapes, they've determined that she's also transgender. Which is something.
This is how they spend their time. Like, this is what they think is important. This is why they're losing. Yeah. People are dying and they're fucking around with this bullshit.
But I quite
and
like
people see through it.
Yeah, I quite like someone taking the piss by tweeting that picture at him. Nice. That is how all skeletons of humans look. Yeah.
Yes, that must be it.
Indeed. Look, that big ass for the lady. There you go. Anyway.
Men don't like a flat ass.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then I had the Herman Cain tweeting from beyond the grave, which was
you did have that too, guy.
Funny. Anyway, I'll stop sharing that nonsense and put us back onto the happy hour pictures, and we're done. Okay, so
that's
we can talk shit for a bit if you want,
or we could just wrap this up and go watch more Manitowoc Minute.
I suppose we could do that.
Yeah, if you want to talk a little shit.
Did you see the two pictures, by the way, that because I'm still screen sharing with you, aren't I? No, I'm not.
Nope, I can't see what you see.
Okay.
I haven't seen any of the art.
Oh, okay.
You started screen sharing.
Yeah, but the people, they can't see it. They can only see the
Yes.
So we'll just wait for it to scroll round, basically.
Okay, so we'll talk till then.
So we'll talk to them. We haven't mentioned Hummels for a couple of weeks. Got to get some Hummels stuff in.
Yeah, we might have forgotten to mention our Hummels sponsors last time.
Yeah, well, I got a call from Mats himself. He said, Kev, I'm giving you all this money. All this money. Me and Soros are funding you, and you're not mentioning either of us.
So Hummels or Soros.
Yeah, exactly.
You're kind of taking a piss with that. You're taking the piss with that. Your title, this new title you've been given.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, I mean, Kristi, you say I was given. I think I was chosen by God to be the CEO of the very hierarchical Antifa super soldiers.
Or you can sign up on a website.
You can sign up on a website where it's fascists, and it definitely was set up by Ben Shapiro, literally, because the man's a fucking idiot. Yeah.
I wish someone would give him a bunch of bum spam numbers, but it's not worth the time.
Yeah, basically.
So, all right. So I'm waiting to see these pictures, huh?
You are. This is. I mean, you could have watched the stream live and supported my channel via the algorithm, Kristi, and seen them there. But clearly, you didn't want to do that.
I watch in the chat. You can't do everything.
You don't have to watch the chat. Like I said, they're human garbage, Kristi. Why would you bother? They're awful.
He loves it. He's joking, you know.
I am joking, of course.
Joking.
I am. Or am I? No, I am. Oh, for fuck's sake, we chose the exact worst time to go onto the thing.
What's this wee stuff, white man? You chose.
Why'd you have to be racist against my race there, Kristi?
Well,
Dickie Brain was right about you. You are anti-white. You're a filthy racialisms.
I can call you a white man, cis man, but it's only the white that's offensive.
And the cis. Yeah, obviously. That's incredibly cisphobic of you. So that's Kristi and Kev across the Delaware. Good.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake, hurry up.
I like that I'm George Washington because I am the general.
You are the general.
You said this was...
I predicted the general thing because I think I put these together before the general. I think. I can't
Here comes the general. Oh, that's new.
Had to go with some white chicks action there.
That is very good. That is good. Did you get any of the donated art that people labored over?
I've decided not to bother. But thank you to everyone. But you've got enough images now where I feel like I'm just the ones that I create. Or I suppose if Kristi wants to do some, she's probably got more important things to spend her fucking time on, frankly. But if she wanted to put something together, I would put it in there for her.
Kevin's like, no, this is our stuff. This is mine.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
This is my thing. Nice.
Well, it is. Yeah, it is literally my fucking thing. These are all my entirely original artwork. I did all this painting here. I know they say like Van Gogh did it. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I did it. And there we go.
That was you. That was 100% you. I love it.
That's the German Boer story.
One of all of them.
Yeah.
Wow, we really did pick the worst time to start.
We did.
It
literally was the fucking furthest away it could possibly have been. Anyway, those are the two images I created in the. I was going to be on time, and then it didn't happen. But you know, So I did put some effort in this morning on the show, so you're very welcome.
Well, I don't know what people in the chat thought, but it was totally worth it for me to see us as ass cheeks chasing a boar.
We are. Well, yeah.
That was fucking brilliant.
Thank you. Anyway, so let me know what you think in the chat, because it helps the algorithm. Leave your comments, because I really care. And I will definitely read them all. Now, I do read quite a few of them, but then I'll stop. I've got a million videos, you know. Anyway,
yes.
Anyway, what have you got coming up on your channel, Kristi?
Well, we were going to do D&D last night, but then there was a delay, which is why I could crash out at my friend's house. And so I am starting a D&D session with R&D as the DM in 2 hours, 1 o'clock my time, which I think is like 7 something in the US. I've got to do something, although I don't have it planned.
No,
I'm meant to do something.
No, hang on. Is it 8? No, hang on. Yeah,
it depends
7.
on if it's Central Time or Eastern.
No, it's 7. Yeah, 7 Eastern. Apologies, because it's 12 here, which is 5 hours. So,
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Math on the fly.
So go and do that and type penis in the chat.
I talked to my friend.
So.
And I talked to my friend, and he's willing to go to Wuppertal and be my cameraman while I talk a little bit about the Wuppertal overhead rail.
Oh, cool.
Monorail. So awesome. I don't know when that's going to happen, but plans are underway.
Good.
So I'll even like premiere it here. I'll show you guys the video here first, or whatever else. So yeah, you can see it here. Anything else is just check my channel. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, go and type penis as 5 separate messages in the chat, in Kristi's chat, because that will amuse me.
No, it's your chat.
It will amuse me. Well, you can do it here, but I meant specifically for the D&D game. But yeah, I mean, just in general, type penis. Wherever a penis appears, that's my calling card.
That should be on a t-shirt.
It should.
Kevin Logan 2020.
Exactly. Thank you to everyone in the chat and everyone in general. This is a lot of fun. Thank you to Kristi for doing the braids there. That's good.
Yes.
I think she secretly might have been a black person in a previous life. That's a line from the film.
That's a joke from the movie.
That's literally a line from the film, because it's funny because the person actually is black, but they're playing a white person. That's the inside joke that the audience knows that the character doesn't know. Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. Anyway.
Yes. Oh, and there's more D&D on my channel. I'm becoming like half D&D channel now. But yes. So thank you for the reminder.
Geek. Yeah, she's a fucking geek. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so goodbye from me, and goodbye
Saturday
from Kristi. Say goodbye, Kristi.
Goodbye, Kristi.
She did the bit, the appropriately paced bit. Boom, done.